My name is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and I remain subject to state surveillance and terrorism by the state of California that is operating a malicious targeting system which is referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices. And it is in violation of federal stalking statute 18 U.S.C. sections 2261A subsections 1 and 2. My website and podcast serve the public good by publishing evidence of the public entity's ceaseless engagement in a pattern of conduct intended to stalk and monitor via communication devices, surveil, harass, and terrorize an American citizen in concert with the people of the state of California. Documentation serves the lawful purposes of wide exposure, federal prosecution, and influencing federal legislation with policies specifically designed to punish, dismantle, and disincentivize an unprecedented targeting system by a public entity that acts in concert with the people of the state in order to criminally place under surveillance and terrorize an American citizen, which is a matter of public corruption in the state of California. Notice: intellectual property theft is particularly egregious and equally unlawful where the sole inventor and creator of the intellectual property is the targeted individual. Erica Lorraine Spencer, subject to the unconstitutional and inhumane government system of gang stalking, otherwise referred to as federal group stalking and monitoring via communication devices, because of which the intellectual property created by the targeted individual, who is, in fact, Erica Lorraine Spencer, as the intellectual property also proves, serves to establish via evidence and expose the existence of criminal surveillance and thus an inherent threat posed by the U.S. government and the civilian population sharing engagement in the unlawful system. Such evidence, that includes all of the content created by Erica Lorraine Spencer, images, videos, audio, etc., belongs solely and entirely to Erica Lorraine Spencer only and is necessarily published online in order to protect her life, safety, and liberty as the targeted individual, who is also the intellectual property owner, no less protected from theft procured through targeting by a public entity. Theft of any intellectual property belonging to Erica Lorraine Spencer, which is necessarily committed while she, being both creator and inventor, remains oppressed by the public entity via criminal surveillance, is a criminal and inhumane means of infringement under all circumstances and not protected nor enforceable pursuant to any invalid or fraudulent acts of copyright, trademarks, patents, etc., including as it pertains to any ideas associated with or generated from the intellectual property or the intellectual property owner, Erica Lorraine Spencer, whether creative, business, or otherwise, nor does the intellectual property owner consent to any such means of infringement and theft. Erica Lorraine Spencer here. The following is an audio version of video evidence that is captured for purposes of mass distribution, which is why I am capturing it and sharing it on the podcast for evidentiary purposes and also to reveal the wealth of documentation that extends beyond what it is that I document on podcasts. Much of the video and images will be published onto the YouTube channel, the P.O.C, and it is also shared on the Google Drive. Again, this is for purposes of revealing what I remain subject to, which is federal group stalking and monitoring. It is a demonic system of state surveillance that the government is practicing in concert with the people of the state, and it should be known and well understood that for the government to engage in federal group stalking and monitoring, this is a crime that is committed with a criminal purpose to threaten the life of an American citizen. This is to conspire to murder and or permanently kidnap an American citizen while engaging in a perpetual sex offense in concert with the people of the state. This is P.O.C. And this is while Stater Brothers is stalking with the City of Ontario. City of Ontario engages in these acts of violence as they monitor what it is that I put on the internet, and then they respond by stalking by helicopter and stalking by plane. They're doing so under the fake moon. They're flying under the fake moon. They're doing so while I document this is a sex offender. They're all sex offenders. Stater Brothers is a sex offender, as are all of the employees are sex offenders. That's why they are regularly monitoring genitalia in the bathrooms at the venue. And that's also why they are stalking one person while employed at a grocery store. They're all sex offenders. And the fact that the government is stalking at 12, 11 in the morning is also evidence of their mental illness and their criminal engagement in the perpetual sex offense as genitalia monitors, stalking in furtherance of murder. The entity is doing so where there are no flights that are ever hovering. Like I documented this morning at 128 Bonita Court, hovering over this housing community, hovering over this parking lot, doing so also at 12 in the morning, where the entity is engaging in what I captured 3 videos, stalking by helicopter. The Stater Brothers and the Stater Brothers employees are all violent sex offenders. They're all engaging in what is sexual assault and battery while they're stalking me, knowing that I'm here, molesting with impossible light. And they're losers and vagina monitors that work at a grocery store, gang stalking for a living. And this is to show you how much of a sex offender the people of the state are. The people of the state includes the corporation, Stater Brothers, who's engaging in the perpetual sex offense thousands of times, while the people of the state come to this venue that is a sex offender. Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt Boulevard, where sex offenders such as David Quinones, and such as Amber and Isaiah, these demons that are monitoring at registers, not even actually focused on the simplest job, such as accepting money in exchange for goods. They're actually gang stalking. They're actually violent sex offenders engaging in that malicious pattern of conduct, which is why the airport is stalking and which is why the police are stalking me in this parking lot under the fake moon, the evidence of mental illness, the evidence of corrupt businesses that shall be prosecuted under federal RICO. This is the airport that's stalking. It's currently 12:13 a.m. and the entities engaged in this. You'll see the time that I published my X thread right now regarding the fact that Stater Brothers is a sex offender, and so are all of its vagina monitoring demons that are employed there. And the city of Ontario, that calls itself engaging in a documented act of retaliation, is exposing the fact that they are all sex offenders. That's why the airport is stalking with them at their place of work. And there are moreover, no planes that are taking off that have any flights scheduled right now. It's 12:12. The entity is stalking. Not only are there no flights scheduled, okay, there's no flight scheduled for departures from the Ontario International Airport. There are no flights scheduled. And let me show you the timestamp on this. This is recent. I took this today at 6:50 p.m. Not only are there no flight schedules, there are no flights from the airport, Terminal 2 or Terminal 4. None coming from these gates in Terminals 2 and Terminal 4, where they're hovering over the Ontario Village Shopping Center. But what the entity is doing is the same pattern of conduct. As I'm documenting, as I'm publishing evidence regarding the people of the state who are violent sex offenders and businesses that are sex offenders, the entity engages in stalking me by planes and helicopters. And Amber and Isaiah, Kia, and David Quinones, they're going to federal prison. That's what my diligence of publishing this evidence on X and onto the podcast and onto the Google Drive and onto YouTube is going to accomplish. In fact, it's already done. I'm doing the handiwork so that everyone is witnessing it in real time. They are going to federal prison, and that will be a matter of what is a conviction within the walls of a tribunal. But this is the court case right now, and the federal government is watching me prosecute them, and the federal government is watching the mentally ill who are violent sex offenders, aware of the fact that Stater Brothers is keeping my vagina under surveillance and that demons are stalking with things such as impossible light activity under what they know is not the natural environment, aware that demons that fill the city of Ontario are a threat to the public. That's the shutdown of the Ontario International Airport. That's the prosecution of the gang stalking airlines. That's the prosecution of Stater Brothers and everybody that works there who are in fact sex offenders. This is where the fake sun is rising at the Stater Brothers as well. They're absurdly psychotic. Okay, and this is a massive prosecution. Stater Brothers is not big enough, is not wealthy enough as a company, successful enough to compensate me for that which they have inflicted, and I documented it. It's an unprecedented basis to recover, and they're going to pay me my money. And Stater Brothers does not have any right under the law to further exist. It is a threat to the public, while the company itself is engaging in what is mentally ill behavior. And as that is converted to what is a business, you're talking about what's a threat to the public because the demon-possessed that are mentally ill are operating a corrupt business, engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring using the venue itself. This is P.O.C. It is currently 12:16 a.m. All right, this is a word tactic regarding psychological torture upon stalking, which is what the Ontario Police Department are engaging in. They are in what is called alignment with my person along this sidewalk. They are doing so, which is targeting. This is the fake moon that followed from the Ontario Village shop, where the Ontario Police are in 3 videos stalking. The people of the state are creating the light activity. The entities engaging what is harassing and threatening with the vehicle itself. They're all in engaging in surveillance, sitting in their cars, taking turns aiming with light. And this is federal prison. Sexual assault and battery. P.O.C. This is the Ontario Police that are being disbanded, and the people are going to prison. This is literally the stalking and the conspiracy to murder. License plate. This is El Bacone as well, stalking every night. License plate. That's a female. License 9 Sam Kelly 648. That's prison. Sitting around stalking with the Ontario Police, and I'm here, and now they're engaging in what is pacing, driving off. This is a male. License. This is prison. License 7 Victor Bob Victor 476. And I took pictures. You'll see the black truck that's parked in front. The demon was already sitting in the car. Then they turn on the lights and he proceeded forward. This is El Bacone. I'm prosecuting the whole venue. These demons that engage in the elements of monitoring while the entity displays the vehicle. These are the silly games that psychopaths play. This is psychological torture. This is a tactic. The demon-possessed people of the state and the demons of the Ontario Police are going to prison, and they're going to be subject to mental examinations. 7 NTV 057. P.O.C. This is El Bacone. I just want to make sure this is the venue where they are stalking every night. The Ontario International Airport, flying over this building where there are no takeoffs, no flights, none that are occurring over here. And the entity is engaging what is stalking under the fake moon. And this is the Ontario Police that are parked in a dark alley, abandoning a police vehicle, stalking in the path. Okay, this demon is sitting in the dark. It's as though this is another iteration of the same P.O.C. First of all, this is my shot in front of me. And this is after the entity is stalking me in 3 videos, flying in circles over me at the Ontario Village, while the people of the state at Stater Brothers are going to prison because of the criminal conduct of the Ontario Police Department. And this is a threat to my life right here. This is why they're going to prison. They're mentally ill, and I'm going to prosecute them. But these are the circumstances. American citizens are murdered by them. License 1614296. This is a white male. He's going to federal prison. Okay, he's in engineer light. He's stalking. Here, under the fake moon that remains over me, stalking directly in the path, tracking my steps, which is what they do under a fake sun. The fake sun that departed from Ontario altogether and remained over me in Fontana. He's stalking. He's a psychopath also. This is a sex offender, a vagina monitor. This is a murderer lurking, stalking in a police vehicle. These are terrorists, and he's going to prison. That is, again, vehicle. Let me get this. He's going to prison also because the people of the state are sitting around stalking with him. This is not a police officer, and he's going to prison. He's made a mustache. Vehicle 1040. And he knows exactly who I am. He's gang stalking as the department's pattern of conduct, and Mike LORENZ is going to prison for this as well. 1614296. That's Union Pacific. That's gang stalking with this demon. That's audible activity. He's monitoring. He's criminally monitoring in violation of federal stalking statute 22618 subsections 1 and 2, Title 18. He's a demon. He's mentally ill. He's going to prison, and he's also going to be subject to mental examination. And this is my shadow that's over there by his car. Impossible light activity. Here's another shadow on the ground. Here's another shadow behind me. While Union Pacific is audible activity, and his mental exhibited while he is stalking in the specific environment. This is somebody that is obsessed with me. He listens to my podcast. He's stalking on the internet, and he's physically stalking in relevant position, and he's sitting here listening to me prosecute him. He's going to prison. This is P.O.C. He's going to prison because of all the people of the state, like at Stater Brothers, who are stalking with this department. And there is no environment that reconciles this environment. There's no evidence, nothing in the natural environment that reconciles this environment. He is going to, this is an unlawful threat. Well, I had to document this agency that's repeatedly kidnapped me, stole from me, defame my character, and then engages in what is stalking like this. This is P.O.C. The entity is stalking by helicopter as I return to Ontario, stalking by helicopter as I document, and he's monitoring now. Doing so, stalking in a police vehicle, it's automatic prison. Currently, by the way, 12:37 a.m. This is P.O.C. All right, that demon is indeed going to prison, and this is what they're doing west of this location at the Stater Brothers. Ontario police are stalking me in a city-issued vehicle. They're being disbanded, and the airport's being shut down, and this is the city of Ontario's conspiracy to murder me by gang stalking me. which they thought was going to falsely depict my character and make me look like I'm mentally ill, and it's showing how mentally ill they are. This is a demon stalking under the fake moon. They did the exact same thing at the Stater Brothers, flying under the fake moon that was over that parking lot, while those employees are all going to prison for stalking with this government. This is P.O.C. It is currently 12:39 a.m. We already showed you the list of flights. There are no flights right now. This is the Ontario International Airport that is stalking me in concert with the Ontario Police in a dark alley, stalking me with the people of the state that are sharing in that, sitting in their vehicles, waiting to turn on their headlights, which is stalking with light, absurdly psychotic behavior by the demon possessed that are gang stalking in Ontario. And I'm going to prosecute also the venue, El Bacone, another broke down ghetto establishment that's engaged in the P.O.C. that is not going to survive civil and criminal prosecution. And those people, the people that say that I documented, are subject to prison, just like that demon, that Caucasian male with the mustache stalking me in the dark in an Ontario police vehicle, is going to prison. This is P.O.C. This is the evidence that the Ontario police are stalking. And this is the evidence that the Ontario International Airport is stalking while the Ontario police are stalking. This is the evidence that the people of the state are stalking while the Ontario International Airport and the Ontario Police Department are stalking. This is the entity stalking while the fake moon remains over me, stalking by a specific environment. The entity is stalking and the entity is demonic. This is the Ontario Town Square, and the fake moon leaves as I leave in the direction east, no longer over the Stater Brothers, where those demons were engaging in the perpetual sex offense, where the Ontario police provided 3 videos of stalking me by helicopter while they were hostile to the evidence of what I'm doing on my film publishing. What do you think he's doing in a dark alley? He's doing the unthinkable, and he's going to prison because I proved what he is in fact doing. He's going to prison for it. And so are the demons stalking in planes, and so are the people of the state that are doing it with them. P.O.C. It's currently 12:40 a.m. Stalking, Securitas on foot, Page One Cafe. This is the couple that works at the Page One Cafe. This is Ovid Family Community Library. This is equally the elements of crossing path, whether in the Securitas golf cart or whether on foot, while the entity is aiming light activity, flying in the path, and doing so where there's no takeoff. Where the government is stalking, you're looking at a stalker, conspicuous surveillance, and it's representing a company. And they're monitoring what I'm uploading to the drive for April 27, 2026. And this is the entity that is stalking into Upland, California, where there are also no takeoffs, where they're deviating even farther from the Ontario International Airport. This is P.O.C. It is 6:15 a.m. Alrighty, this is ongoing consecutive flight hovering over the Senior Center, the City Hall, and this is the 280 North Limit Apartments. And the more that I document, the more pictures that I take of stalking by the planes. And these are, again, psychopathic people, demons that are stalking in these planes. These are mentally ill people that are stalking, and this is a threat to national security. This is a threat to the means of transportation that American citizens rely on. The more that I take pictures of them stalking, the more frequently the planes are hovering over here. This is 6:33 a.m. This is the entity that is stalking. Let me show you what they're doing. One plane after another after another. It's 6:33 a.m. This is the entity that's doing so seconds ago. I'm uploading it to the Google Drive, and this is the next one at 6:33. This is 6:31, doing cartwheels over the Senior Center. This is where I'm at the Ovid Family Community Library. Gang stalking with Page One Cafe employees. This is at 6:29 a.m. doing cartwheels over the Senior Center. This is, again, and as I take pictures, they engage in more. As I take pictures, as I take video, as I upload. This is Page One Cafe that I'm documenting gang stalking me. He's using his vehicle. This is the employee at the Page One Cafe, which is the City of Ontario, Ontario Convention Center, where the entity was monitoring me as I was taking the California bar, by the way. This is 6:24 a.m. stalking, flying over this area over and over and over again while the Page One Cafe employee is crossing path, license 8 Mary Victor Frank 362, engaging in criminal monitoring in concert together. These are demons. Okay, City of Ontario gang stalking together at the Ovid Family Community Library. This is at 6:15 a.m. doing cartwheels over the Ontario Senior Center. One plane after another, after another, after another. These are the mentally ill that are murdering people while they're gang stalking me, and they're gang stalking me while they're looking at it on the internet. They're engaging in this mentally ill behavior together, incorporating the business. Securitas is gang stalking all together in this video. 6:14 a.m. And this is where the entities just engage in this is Southwest Airlines, 6:11 a.m. Cartwheels, doing cartwheels over the senior center area over here, the Civic Center, the Ontario City Hall, where Southwest is gang stalking at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, where the fake sun was in Ontario, California. Don't forget that, right? You're documenting the city that's targeting in concert with Page One Cafe, which is the Ovid Family Community Library. Gang stalking. All right, this is P.O.C. 6:07 a.m. doing cartwheels over the Ontario Senior Center. This is where I'm at. This is where I remain. And this is relevant to psychological torture. It's relevant to harassment and terrorism. While the entity is doing so, and the entity has this published regarding flights that are actually toward destinations. And this is what the entity is maintaining at the Ontario International Airport. This is the Stater Brothers that's being prosecuted. Stater Brothers is being federally prosecuted for gang stalking. The Ovid Family Community Library, the people of the state gang stalking on the roads and the highways, while the airport, the city of Ontario, is gang stalking. And this is exactly what the Ontario Police Department share in, stalking with the Stater Brothers parking lot, the Stater Brothers employees, Amber and Isaiah, while the entity is stalking by plane and helicopter. They're going to prison. And so are these. These are the mentally ill. These are demons that engage in psychopathic pacing. And it is under the law, literally stalking. But the stalking is to a degree regarding my physical location. This is an inhumane feature regarding psychopathic means of stalking, spending money on stalking the commercial airline companies that are sharing in the criminal pattern of conduct. United Airlines, Delta Airlines, Alaska Airlines, Southwest Airlines are headed toward destinations starting at 7 a.m. And the entity is engaging in this while there are no flights scheduled right now. And there are no flights that are coming from the airport hovering over here. This is the entity that is clearly stalking as I am going to Upland, while I'm in Fontana. This is the entity that is under all circumstances. This is a federal RICO that's already complete. This is a criminal conspiracy to murder while you are stalking as a commercial airline company with the city of Ontario with impunity that's also stalking as a police department. They're going, Amber and Isaiah, Stater Brothers, are going to prison. The Ovid employees are going to federal prison. The people of the state, like those that are engaging in what is assault and battery with this entity, stalking, gang stalking, which is shown while the entity is stalking over this location where there's no planes taking off. And there's also no planes taking off at that frequency, at this elevation. You're not going toward a destination engaging in cartwheels. This is all common sense. And this is where the senior citizens remain. They live here, and they're hovering over at 6 in the morning. They're also doing it at 12 at night. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that's monitoring federal stalking. Okay, like I stated, Mike LORENZ that's engaging in what is, I'm uploading all that evidence from stalking me last night, doing so while I'm publishing evidence on the internet. This is the behavior of the mentally ill as they are witnessing. This is, remember, while I'm documenting, I'm discerning demons who become maniacal as you are able to see them, and they like to engage in what is murdering, psychologically torturing, stalking, their criminal conduct, their dark, wicked, demented deeds in secret. That's been long gone, so you are witnessing now tangible evidence of mental illness. The airport is being shut down, and the commercial airline companies are being prosecuted, every single last one of them, for stalking me. They're terrorists and they're sex offenders, and so is the city of Ontario. This is P.O.C. It is currently 6:38 a.m. All right, Pavement Rehab, license plate 56673 David. 56673 David. This coward's moving because I'm documenting him. 56673. Looks like David 3. That is Pavement Rehab. This is light activity. And he's been stalking in the path. And Pavement Rehab has been stalking in the path and further into psychological torture, which I'm going to prosecute that company for criminally. And also the third party operating that vehicle. I already have images of it. He's engaged in surveillance while I'm at the turn circle. And the city of Ontario is stalking by dumpster trucks. And the entity is stalking by commercial planes. Pavement Rehab is over here creating light activity. While you will see the airport moving as I move. This is probably on the prosecution. He's also being federally prosecuted because the city of Ontario is stalking him further into murder, and the people of the state are. While now the entity is, United Airlines is flying over downtown Ontario luxury apartments. I've documented and published the evidence of them stalking, flying over the senior center, where the city of Ontario is emptying the dumpster with regard to light activity and amplified audible activity at the senior center, which is stalking in the path, just like this, under the
which is no longer at the Ovid Family Community Library. You're looking at my pictures as you see the environment and the stalkers themselves. Paul Leon's being federally prosecuted. He is a demon, and he is also a fake pastor at a fake church. He's a demon. He's a monitoring spirit, and that's why he's hiring monitoring spirits. That's why they're monitoring in the city of Ontario. That's why the city hall, the Ontario City Hall, is where gang stalking is underway, which is demonic. Pavement rehab is going to be federally prosecuted. They're sitting right here engaging in surveillance. They're gang stalking me while I am at this library at the side of it. The fake son's at the side of it. Securitas, Page One Cafe. They're all monitoring, and the airline companies are plane after 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 plane, which is this conduct. Look, these are demons pacing. This body, this body, this body. These vehicles are all bodies. They're communication devices while the city of Ontario is maintaining light activity. You're looking at the same elements of monitoring, the same psychopathic pacing. These are demons. And they're monitoring. Remember, they're not just stalking, following me from place to place like the airport is clearly doing, as the population is clearly doing, as I show you the fake sun. They're monitoring. So while they're stalking me, they're engaging in what is pacing all around me while they follow me from place to place, city to city, county to county, state to state. Physical position, operation of my device from one use of it to the next. Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments, Ontario Ovid Family Community Library, Pavement Rehab, Page One Cafe, that's the city of Ontario as well, Metro 102 Apartments, Downtown Ontario Luxury Apartments, the John Stewart Company, the Senior Citizen Apartment Complex, the Ontario City Hall, the University of Laverne College of Law. The entity is engaging in this pattern, incorporating all of these businesses and all of the functions of the city of Ontario, and Paul Leon's being prosecuted. Okay, this is a funding of terrorism, which is a federal offense. It's an act of terrorism, and the removal of all the means whereby the city is funded with regard to terrorizing me, like every department regarding the city of Ontario. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is currently where the fake sun is over me, 7:05 a.m. Remember, while it's over me and I'm in McDonald's at the Ontario Mills, where I'm capturing the fake sun and engineer light, where they're inside of that restaurant and they're gang stalking, they're walking in something, they're ordering their food in something, and they are, again, overweight, staring at their devices, gang stalking, buying more Big Macs, buying more Egg McMuffins, buying more lattes while they're gang stalking with the city of Ontario. This is the pattern of conduct, and that which is over me at Lemon, which is over me at the Ovid Family Community Library, that which is pursuing stalking with light, demon-possessed people, they're engaged in that pattern of conduct together, and it is a very clear-cut pattern of conduct. This is Pavement Rehab, City of Ontario, a demon in their own vehicle, and they're all going to prison. Remember Amber and Isaiah last night? They're going to prison. This is what the entity shows about itself. They're going to federal prison, and no one's going to forget that, and no one's going to be crying for them either. This is P.O.C. This demon, that is the same entity pacing. License 70 Wendy Bob 391. That's a demon. License plate. These are demons. They're under the fake sun. They're mentally ill. License 9NOF399 and 8NMG855. And this is where the city of Ontario keeps the fake sun, the Ovid Family Community Library. There's no natural environment where it would still be here 7 hours later. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, because that's exactly what I have in the middle of the afternoon, in the evening, and in the morning at opening at 10 o'clock. This is the Ovid Family Community right here. While the entity communicates a threat with that flashing light coming towards you, while they're engaging in surveillance, this is pacing. They're doing that while you're documenting it. The domestic terrorists are going to be prosecuted as the enemies that they are. They're not getting any assistance from the government. They're going homeless. Feeding their children is not a government responsibility. It's not a government concern. These are enemies of the country, and their children are threats to us as well while they're gang stalking with them. And they've been engaged in documented terrorizing me under the age of majority. This is that population. This is the P.O.C. And this is why Mike LORENZ is being federally prosecuted as well. It's 7:07 a.m. where the fake sun is in tow with me, and it's remaining while I go from city to city. That's exactly what I'm showing you in Fontana, California. This is what I'm showing you when I'm aboard Omnitrans. When I'm in the city of Pomona, where the entity is stalking just like the California, where there are also no terminals. And there are also no flights that would incorporate this. Southwest Airlines, headquartered in Dallas, Texas, is fully capable of engaging what is paying damages, which is what they're going to do. And these companies are not going to exist anymore. It's a threat to national security. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is at Lemon and B as in boy right here, where the entity is keeping the fake sun, where the entity is now, you can clearly see that where their planes are flying over the senior center. Now they're flying over here. They're progressing. That's stalking. Now, wherever it is I sit, like I showed you at the library, Then they're engaging in this wherever it is that I sit, because they're pacing all around me while they are stalking, because they're stalking by being where I'm at, and they're pacing all around. This is what the mentally ill are doing while I sit in a library and a fake sun stays all day long. This is a mentally ill population that's murdering people, psychologically torturing them, sexually violating them, engage in sexual activity with each other while they violate your privacy, and engage in that psychopathic conduct while they are engaged in public corruption, which is the City of Ontario. License 1465787, and that's the entity that's prosecuting Paul Leon for me, because he's going to prison. P.O.C. It's funding terrorism while you see the City of Ontario engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring the demons that are gang stalking as a municipality. P.O.C. It is currently 7:09 a.m. That is United Airlines. Take a good look. No longer doing cartwheels over the senior center. United Airlines is fully engaged in gang stalking me, flying over my head on the sidewalk at the 60 freeway at the south. That is the economy end. Flying over me with Delta Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Amazon Prime Air, and they're gang stalking here where there are no flights. Okay, that elevation, that audible activity, City of Ontario. This is the entity that is showing you, because they're mentally ill, and they become maniacal as I document them, because I'm discerning demons right now. But this is for you to see their mental illness, which they cannot conceal. And the mentally ill are going to be removed from every area of society where they're a threat, including stalking you in commercial planes, so that they can fly them into mountains and then report it on the news that it's an example, that it's an accident. It is an example of what is terrorism by United Airlines, which is a threat to this country. They're going to compensate. They're going to be criminally prosecuted. These company heads are going to prison, and so are the demons operating the planes. They're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. This is already prosecuting the Ontario Police Department and the demons of the Ontario International Airport. They're not a board. They're not an executive team. They're being prosecuted. This is prosecuting the people, the companies, and the population that are the people. They're being prosecuted as well. They're going to prison. They're going to be deported. They're losing custody of their gang stalking children, and they will not be supported by the government whatsoever. And while they're engaging in terrorism, you're clearly not going to feel sad for them. It is for your protection that they are homeless. So they have nowhere to hide. They have nowhere to go. They can sit out monitoring on the street where the government will not be paying for them. If you can't take care of your children, you're losing custody of them anyway. The government will not be compensating any terrorists, and the reason being because they have minor children. They're a threat to those minor children. They're incorporating them in terrorism and sexual violence with impunity that they're showing you now. And that's exactly what's going to be relevant when terrorists are in family court and they're losing their kids. They're losing the demons that they're raising to engage in monitoring, that is psychologically torturing in order to murder people. The dead are giving birth to kids, and they will not be supported by the government. The government will be taking them in order to cease training them to engage in terrorism, like the City of Ontario is doing with the minors in the city. This is P.O.C. It's currently 7:11 a.m. That was United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, P.O.C. All right, sexual assault and battery, license 9 HIX 187. With the co-defendants that are pacing all around, and they're doing so while they're hostile to the fake sun that I documented in the afternoon that's following up the street now while the entity is following with airplanes. The commercial airline companies that are demons, the bungalows are gang stalking 702 and 706 North Euclid Avenue. This is the neighborhood that's going to be defunded, and this is the neighborhood that's going to be federally prosecuted. 5GWB046, they're all sharing in sexual violence while they're monitoring on my device, and I'm documenting the fact that the fake sun is over me at 12:37, approximately at Bethel Congregation. And I just documented it right now at 7:30, where United Airlines, Southwest Airlines are following, stalking as I'm walking now north of Euclid Avenue, and they are all stalking. And they're engaging with this conduct, molesting my entire body with light, and that's 5PVA 566. That's a homosexual predator. That's a demon-possessed person that's engaging what is gang stalking, which is not ordinary stalking. Not just following me, following as a group, and following with light and with audible activity, because they're monitoring. And they're vagina monitors. There are minions that are engaging in what is stalking in order to murder, and they're doing it now because they're hostile demons, for which they're going to mental institutions, federal prison. They're being deported. They're being removed from children. They're being removed from the vulnerable as a population that are stalking as the government. They're not private citizens. And this is the entity that is hostile, because this fake sun is over me on this in the middle of the afternoon, which you recall, while I'm gang stalking the demons that are reciting the name of Jesus in the Catholic Church, St. George, and in the fake church Bethel Congregation, which is right here. The fake sun is over this building at 12:37 over the top of my head, where this population right here are gang stalking. All right, that's the P.O.C. and that's sexual violence as a retaliatory act while they are monitoring on my device. Federal stalking. You're being monitored. They're monitoring your genitalia, they're monitoring your devices, and they're stalking you in order to monitor you. Not just stalking you, following you like 92036H2 stalking, but pacing all around you where they're stalking where you go. That's what the entity is doing. Ontario International Airport, Ontario Police Department, City of Ontario, and all the vehicles like Pavement Rehab, third parties, the people. This is the P.O.C. This is the entity that's prosecuting itself. This is the entity that is going to be federally prosecuted as terrorists, and they're losing all means of providing what is a basis to terrorize anyone else. The City of Ontario is being gutted out, okay? Euclid Avenue and G Street. This is the entity that's engaged in the past. City of Ontario, this is a stalker, all right? Not a trash emptier. All right, they're not engaging in that. They're engaged in stalking. It's light activity, relevant positioning. And they are showing you that while the fake sun's over me at one place, and then it's over me while I'm at another place, and there they are in the path. They're stalkers who are monitored. This is P.O.C. And they're doing so while Leon is engaged in the conspiracy to murder, and that's why that terrorist is being removed from office and prosecuted for it. P.O.C. Alrighty, this is documentation that is verified in images. So video is published, and I'm capturing podcasts right now, and I'm going to compare that with, or couple that with, rather, juxtapose it with these images that I'm capturing. But I want to provide podcasts in real time. It's 7:26 a.m. Amazon Prime is gang stalking at what is 5th Street and Euclid Avenue in the evening upon my, at the end of March, at the end of March. And I will include the video documentation with regard to what I'm referencing. This is the fake sun that's present over me while the airports, United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, UPS, all the commercial airline companies are all sharing in the pattern of conduct, while any one of them are at each time sharing in psychopathic pacing, which is the entity engaging in what is psychological torture and furtherance of murdering you while they are stalking you. That's the reason for companies. These are terrorists, every single last airline, and they're all being prosecuted. And they're doing so while Amazon Prime is also documented gang stalking me at this very location, 846 North Euclid Avenue, where Giselle and Garetta, DDS, APC, and Evan C. Baker, DDS. These are demons that maintain a facilitating venue while they are practicing dentistry. They're doing so as gang stalkers in the City of Ontario, where their office is a facilitating venue, fake sun, and it is indeed a crime scene where they're not legitimately engaged in any sort of dentistry, and any and every venue like this one is subject to being raided, subject to being prosecuted, and you're subject to prison. You're subject to all of the repercussions under federal law regarding prosecuting and surrounding with legislation to disarm terrorists in the U.S. that are engaging in domestic terrorism, such as the City of Ontario, the entire population, and the entire population that maintains all businesses, corporate entities that are sharing in the pattern of conduct like the commercial airline companies are showing you. Amazon Prime is one of those. At 5th Street and Euclid Avenue, upon my departure from Upland, walking on the same Euclid Avenue at this same intersection, even in front of this same building, where the entity that is Amazon Prime is stalking in the path. That's why in that video, it's after 6 p.m. in the evening, the fake sun is merely on the opposite side of the same street in alignment with my person, while Amazon is using what a package, and this is what Ontario police are using. Just like the demon that's going to prison last night, stalking me at the El Bacon with the people of the state, that's what Ontario police are doing while they're listening to me document. This is also why the people of the state are going to prison. Don't be distracted. Mike LORENZ already knows he's going to prison. What is going to happen is the domestic terrorists, who are the people of the state, they're all going to be federally prosecuted, and they will be treated under the law based on the impunity that is shared by those that are murdering, wearing guns and badges, that are stalking like the Ontario Police Department. Doing so with these demons that are the Ontario Police is putting them in prison. That's what Amber and Isaiah of Stater Brothers are subject to. They're going to prison. They're not the only ones, but they are the ones that are engaging in gang stalking as they're immediately within my mindset as I'm documenting them gang stalking at that Stater Brothers. And they're doing so with the Ontario Police that are flying in circles. The Ontario Police that are stalking right now under the fake sun at 7:29 a.m. And you're also mindful of the fact the entity has a fake sun over me in Fontana, California at the Stater Brothers on Sierra Avenue, while Ontario Police is going out of their way. What is that when they're crossing paths? Is you're documenting them, prosecuting them successfully? That's called psychological torture. And that's why that agency is being prosecuted, and they are the reason for the ongoing terrorists that the people of the state are, and the people of the state are necessarily and as a matter of justice being put in the appropriate facilities. And it includes mental institutions, it includes federal prison, it includes back to whatever place of origin they came from regarding deportation of the entire city, any and all immigrants. And this is how the state is going to be treated as well. The state is sharing in the pattern of conduct that the City of Ontario is engaging in very sloppily, very openly, okay, very conspicuously. All right. That's also a threat, however, and it's foolish, but it's also a threat. This is where Amazon Prime is engaging what is gang stalking with the city of Ontario, including the Ontario police, while they are crossing in the path at this same venue, and they are intentionally doing so, targeting me, knowing who I am, while that fake son is there that's speaking to targeting by that particular company at that point in time, which I documented on video. And this is at what is, again, 846 Euclid Avenue. They're stalking in the path at the turn signal, at the traffic lights, just like Ontario police are, just like the rest of the people of the state are, including license plate E Charlie 00 Frank 17, Edward Charlie 00 Frank 17. The traffic lights are a means of stalking in the path, and that is shown, proven through what is a whole supernatural environment, which is moving as I move, no longer remaining stationary at the Ovid Family Community Library like it is when I'm there at 10 o'clock in the morning and the fake sun is still sitting over the entrance, which I use and juxtapose to you while I'm in San Bernardino, California, and the San Bernardino International Airport is gang stalking just like the Ontario International Airport, both of which are venues that are a threat to the public while they're engaging in criminal and psychotic behavior as a population that is conspiring the murder by virtue of gang stalking an American citizen, which I have shown, and they will be subject to what is being shut down, civilly prosecuted. You're going to be compensating, and you're also going to be shut down. The Ontario and the San Bernardino International Airports are not a necessity. They're not indispensable. They're literally engaged in criminal conduct, and it is a means of defunding, removing the resources of terrorism. This is P.O.C. That video regarding Amazon Prime is sharing in the pattern of conduct that they all are. Amazon Prime maintains a business and a logo, whereas 9 Frank Larry Jerry 884 will be homeless when I'm done prosecuting them, and they will be getting no assistance whatsoever from the government. That's the entity. This is P.O.C. This is criminal conduct, stalking on the roads and the highways, stalking at the traffic light, stalking on foot, doing so as demons under a fake sun. These are vagina monitors. This is P.O.C. All right, that's that mentally ill entity, and they're hostile. Their hostility right now is understood through what is the population, the frequency, just like with the planes. More and more planes, more and more demons. Okay, that's what that is. And they're doing so under the fake sun that's right here on the opposite side of the same street at 6 p.m. This is video evidence that I'm capturing at 7:32 a.m. And I'm going to capture, this is at I Street in Euclid at 846 North Euclid Avenue. And Amazon Prime is gang stalking. I'm going to prosecute Amazon Prime. That is a terrorist. And that's also criminally facilitating while making millions of dollars in doing so. 5 Mary Jerry Robert 827. This is P.O.C. And you will see the airport stalking, doing car stalking in line. These are mentally ill demons. They're going to be prosecuted. They're all monitoring on devices as well in furtherance of murder. License 9XLK410. This is an African-American female. Another demon with no hair, no hairline stalking me. 8HNR252. A demon. This is another female. License 7NKP054. License plate 5MUW920. License 8WTG646. Stalker after stalker. They're going to be prosecuted. The entire city. 8UXH634. They're a threat to children. They're a threat to themselves. 9NTR237. 8PTN576. The elderly are equally threatening. They're gang stalking as the same entity. 75498 Zebra 2. This is the entity that's gang stalking at I Street in Euclid. They're gang stalking driving the school buses. They're gang stalking while they're in their homes, which are facilitating venues. They're maintaining massive surveillance, and they're obsessed with me, obsessed with my vagina as well, which they are keeping under surveillance. The same entity that's gang stalking from city to city, and they are under that fake sun. I'm going to include this whole video instead of just taking images from it. This is probative evidence. This is going to prosecute Amazon Prime and all the people of the state. This is why the entire neighborhood, as I've already documented them by house numbers, showing you the entity stalking by plane and helicopter over their neighborhood, they're going to be prosecuted. So this is the ability with federal law. They've already been shown categorically. This is unprecedented evidence changing the landscape. And the entire entity that is the city of Ontario is going to be treated under federal law. All immigrants, all of those that are in custody of minor children having access to them, those that are engaged in gang stalking via any means of a corporate entity, those that are engaging in the pattern of conduct, doing so as the entity is engaged in criminal summoning with the gang members that are calling themselves a police department. They're going to prison, they're being deported, they're being prosecuted as terrorists. They will not be receiving any government assistance, and they will be identified publicly as terrorists in order to make sure that they the threat that they are is known publicly. All right, this is the pattern of conduct. It is currently 7:34 a.m. where the fake sun is also over me in Pomona, California. I juxtapose this. This is not in Pomona, meaning it's not west of my location. It's not on this side in Pomona, California. Well, I'm in that city, which is LA County, where the people of the state are stalking at the streetlights, which is mentally ill behavior. It's also corrupt behavior. And this is speaking to any and every, a church that's gang stalking, a law office like Perez Law, that's gang stalking, libraries, grocery stores, gas stations. I'm showing you all the businesses that are sharing in that P.O.C. And this is what Amazon Prime is doing at 6 in the evening, where the sun would never be at the same intersection, but it is, because Amazon Prime is a terrorist that's also stalking me from city to city with their commercial planes as well, in concert with the people of the state. And that is mentally ill conduct. Those are demons that run Amazon Prime, making billions of dollars off of you, by the way. And they are very much hostile to you, knowing that they're demons. That is speaking to what the entity, this conduct is shared by Amazon Prime. Mentally ill, more and more demonic behavior, criminal activity, the more that you document them, because you're discerning demons as you document them, because you're not supposed to know the significance and what they're doing or what they are. And then you'll have the entity engaging in more of it. It's public corruption, and it's literally demonic behavior, manic in character. This is the P.O.C. It is currently 7:35 a.m. Fontana, California. What is Pomona, California, while the entity is keeping this fake sun over me. All right, at the same time, that's impossible. And it's also impossible that it's also still here at 6 p.m. where Amazon Prime, just like Omnitrans, does not have any sun in the window moving from street to street, turn to turn. That's never the case, but that is Omnitrans that's gang stalking, including while a demon goes at the bus stop as a means of activity creation. Okay, there's no airport where they're engaging in cartwheels over here. They're clearly stalking. Just pointing out all the means whereby you are surrounding them, and the entire city is going to be federally prosecuted. Okay, this is the pattern of conduct. This is prosecuting domestic terrorists in the U.S. that are here amongst us, threatening the lives of American citizens at every economic level, or at over and under the age of majority, and they're doing so with impunity. And this is also speaking to what is the very fierce and severe legislation. This is not a bad thing that their children are not getting supported because they're terrorists, because that's what they are. Children of terrorists are terrorists. They're engaging in the pattern of conduct with the government, doing so with their children. And you're looking at them continuously doing so with a level of impunity that's not going to be forgotten when they're going to be in need of welfare, and they're not getting it. These are enemies of the country that are remaining as residents if they cannot be deported, if they're not going to federal prison, or when they're out of federal prison, and they will be receiving no assistance whatsoever. This is P.O.C. All right, current time is 7:52 a.m. The demon possessed at what is Euclid Avenue, and the cross street where I'm documenting the series of license plates monitoring with minor kids. They start pacing with kids. This is the gang stalker that is also SHEEHY High School. And if you're aware of these names such as Ovid, SHEEHY, these are demons that have history in this city. And this is also relevant to the demon-possessed population. And these terrorists, terrorism is underway at these venues that have these names, which have a long history, by the way, of demon possession. But relevant context at 4th Street and Euclid Avenue at what is 7:52 a.m. The people of the state are pacing with minor children. This is sick behavior that they're sharing it together, and it's criminal. But I want to be clear, they're doing it with the underage children, pacing one demon after another, monitoring while I'm capturing screenshots of damning evidence of what was regarding Amazon Prime, showing the entity stalking by the airport, stalking by the police, stalking under the fake sun, stalking with Omnitrans, and as I do, one demon after another on the sidewalk, as they do what they're doing in the planes and the skyspace, as they do what they're doing on the roads and the highways. They're doing it with the little kids. And SHEEHY has a demonic history. The name, the demons of the name Ovid, the city of Ontario. If you look into the history of the city of Ontario, it's very demonic. And they're engaging in criminal activity to date. And I want to document that. That's what's relevant to the license plates and the images that I'm capturing. License 700D271 at 4th Street in Euclid at what is 1102 North Euclid Avenue. This is P.O.C. Those are demons as well at that venue, obviously. But they like to get up in the middle. When I was walking to Upland, they like to get up in the dark and come outside and pace all around in their lawn, monitoring with the demons that are pacing on the roads and the highways like they are now, doing so while the fake sun is over me. This is a prosecution of the whole city. But these are a demon-possessed population indeed, and so are their children. You will not be, if you are admitting to the government that you need assistance to take care of your children, if you have not already lost custody of them as a prosecuted terrorist in the city, you're losing custody of them. You're not getting any support from the government, but on the basis of having minor children, you're losing custody when you admit that you are incapable of taking care of your children. No terrorist is getting any support from the government. This is P.O.C. and their children are engaged in the terrorism as well. They are a threat to the public. They are a threat. This is P.O.C. It is currently 7:54 a.m. All right, this is the commercial airline company stalking with the people of the state. All right, more and more up Euclid Avenue into Upland, California. The entity is indeed, this is the prosecution of every airline company and the Ontario International Airport, the City of Ontario, that is Paul Leon, and every department, the fire department, the police department, the City of Ontario, they're going to be stalking under a fake sun using commercial airline planes where there are clearly no flights here either. Okay, at over 1352 North Euclid Avenue, where that airport and the police are stalking me by helicopter on video in the evening, where they are stalking with the people of the state. License plate, conspiring my murder. License 6 Yolanda, Bob Yolanda 197. That's a psychopath, that's a demon. They're stalking me. And they're all stalking me where they live. This is a city that's engaging in that conspiracy together while a hovering airline company is stalking me through the neighborhood. This is P.O.C. and that's the prosecution and the shutdown of the airport. All right, and these are the policies that I put forth with regard to prosecuting the government. But I will have no participation in any government that has filthy hands, I'll say, like Jason Isaac Fields, who's not getting out of federal prison. Well, there's no negotiating. I'm not negotiating with any terrorists. I'm not going to change my mind because you think you can offer me money, because you think in your mind that you're some catch and you're not. You're disgusting, and I will have nothing to do with you, and you're supposed to be in prison anyway. That's exactly what the plan is. And these are my policies. These are my approach. This is my approach to prosecuting domestic terrorism, which I alone exposed and prosecuted while Jason Fields and the like, the corrupt government, were plotting my murder. And now I'm showing you how they execute those plots against American citizens in order to prosecute. And these remain my ideas and my intellectual property while I remain subject to it. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that's engaged in this P.O.C. at Hawthorne and Euclid Avenue, where all the people of the state, remember the African-American female with the lashes and the hairnet on, and she's harassing me while UPS is gang stalking me with her. This is where that pattern of conduct is underway. You're going to prison, you're going to be committed while you speak those things out of your face, and you're nothing but a vagina monitor, a demon-possessed one. Okay? That goes for Mike Lorenz. That's P.O.C. It is currently, by the way, while the entity is being defunded, because that's what this is, all means of government assistance is being stripped of this entity. The entity is being stripped of that. And these officials are being removed from office. And I will participate under no circumstances with a filthy agency. Okay? This is the entity that was gang stalking me is not going to be standing next to me when I'm prosecuting it and prosecuting you. Moreover, I just want to be clear, the entities engaged in this pattern of conduct, and these are the actors that are going to need government assistance when they are impoverished, when they're living on the street, not just gang stalking me on the street, but they're going to be living there, and they're not getting any assistance at all. This is public corruption while they're gang stalking in plain view. All right? They have sex with each other in front of everyone as well while they're stalking the people of the state and monitoring their private moments as well. These are sex offenders. These are demons. And this represents the government that's engaging in stalking in very expensive manners. Very expensive manners. And the entity that spent all that money stalking me served to expose itself and prosecute it, serving my prosecutorial purposes, in other words. All right, this is P.O.C. at Hawthorne and Euclid, and this is denoting what is the entity that is subject to what is being prosecuted by me, and I will not be sharing in what is associating with terrorists that formerly thought that they were going to kill me, and now somehow we're going to be allies. This is all relevant to the entity that's still gang stalking me to date, and you are not negotiating, just like no American citizen, all right, is going to negotiate out of what is their right to enforce the Constitution against the terrorists. You're not getting out of that by trying to offer somebody a job. In fact, you're still gang stalking me, and I remain subject to this, and you're still sitting on my money because you think that there's some way out of it, and it's not. And everyone knows that you're gang stalking me. Everyone knows my stance toward terrorists, and it doesn't change as a vagina monitor that had sex with Tracy Banks. And whoever else that was engaged in targeting me, there is no excuse for it, and I will prosecute you just like every other demon. Just like every other one. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:05 a.m. 1352 North Euclid Avenue. P.O.C. I just want to document San Bernardino County, license 1516176. This is the same thing Fontana police are doing with San Bernardino County. stalking like every other demon under the fake sun, monitoring me, and stalking with regard to threatening because you're being prosecuted. San Bernardino County are kidnappers, and they're demons in law enforcement vehicles. License plate, that's a white female. License plate 1361095. San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes is being disbanded. Okay, they're engaged in stalking, criminal activity. They're not maintaining legitimate jail system. They're engaged in psychological torture and kidnapping and criminal surveillance, federal stalking, including with the very inmates. Just like they are outside of jail, they're gang stalking inside of the jail with the people of the state. And they're doing so with, again, San Bernardino County, who suffer from mental illness while they are abusing that area of the law with regard to kidnapping and targeting. License 8UDE065, exercise the authority under the Welfare and Institutions Code that they don't have because they're engaged in criminal surveillance with Shannon Dykes and the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department, the state of California. And you're looking at a seamless pattern of conduct going from Ontario, California to Upland, California. It is currently 8:26 a.m. The entity is maintaining this fake sun at 8th Street and Euclid. And while San Bernardino County and every other demon crosses path, they are not engaging in they're not experiencing the same thing that I'm documenting, which is supernatural. It's phenomenal. All right. And that's speaking to the stalker. That is the city of Upland. 9 Victor Bob Larry 737. West Coast Arborists Incorporated, also gang stalking with the City of Ontario and the Ontario Police Department, the City of Upland and the Upland Police Department, also doing so while stalking by helicopter. This is already on the record. West Coast Arborists is a terrorist. They're engaged in facilitating terrorism and are sharing in terrorism, and they do so with impunity, just like every other gang stalking companies such as the commercial airline companies. Sharing in federal stalking. This is P.O.C. The entity is keeping the fake sun in alignment to me while all of the entity is stalking every business, every household, every third party stalking, which is surveillance on the roads and the highways. Okay, this is the P.O.C. and the entity is doing so. Remember what the entity is doing, what will be about 8 minutes from now, where San Bernardino County Sheriff is stalking. They're doing so having committed kidnapping. They're doing so while monitoring me as I'm prosecuting them. And that is occurring while I am going from city to city, showing you that San Bernardino County Sheriff are corrupt, and they're engaged in the surveillance system in furtherance of murdering me, and they kidnap me in furtherance of that criminal purpose. And this is the basis of prison. And not only that, I documented many of them by name, badge number, by virtue of encountering me, being in the area, even if I don't have their name. That you're talking about federal prison. Not only that, this is what Jason Fields and Tracy Banks, Mike LORENZ, the Ontario Police Department, Eric Spencer, Tommy Allen Banks, all of those that are perjuring themselves in court, they are targeting me with Shannon Dykes of this agency that's stalking me in furtherance of trying to defame my character, because the corrupt entity thinks that if they kidnap you and commit criminal acts against you, they can just write out on paper and have some gang stalking medical professional sign off on it and state that you're mentally ill. And the pattern of conduct directly rebuts that, and everybody that participated in that would include Jason Isaac Fields, which is federal prison. And in fact, while I document on video, pay attention to this. As I reference this terrorist, this vagina monitor, this sex offender, this non-chosen demon, Jason Fields, the entity that is stalking by those that kidnap me is a threat. They're monitoring the evidence in real time. And every act of terrorism is noted. And no terrorist like Jason Fields is getting out of federal prison. This is P.O.C. In fact, he's going to prison even longer. The longer that I remain in this circumstance, that's speaking to how much longer he's sitting in prison. And that's the same for the entire entity. This is P.O.C. It is currently 8:28 a.m. Take a look at this. You see that lovely light activity? Grossman is monitoring. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. 9JIK294. Grossman is monitoring in concert with the people of the state that are certainly not engaged in protecting your civil rights with him. He's not maintaining some civil rights case while he's simultaneously gang stalking. He's a predator and he is a terrorist, and he is doing so with the city of Upland that's pulling up in the parking lot under the fake sun, walking in it, monitoring while I'm coming to document. So arrives the city. This is Bill Velto's handiwork, and this is the prosecution of that. This is the city of Upland that's gang stalking. This is protection of public health. He is a threat to public health. This is the entity that's pulling up with the West Valley Mosquito and Vector Control District. This is the demon that's monitoring. They could pull up in a school bus, and it's the same exact pattern of conduct. Mark Grossman, okay? This is a
a facilitating venue, and this is the fake sun that's so low it's hitting this window right here. That's not the sun. Mark Grossman is a demon, not just a fake civil rights activist. He's not an activist. He's not an attorney that's genuinely engaged in or interested in civil rights. Otherwise, he wouldn't be gang stalking me, and he knows that he's gang stalking. This is the P.O.C. license 9WMZ069, and he's terrorizing me while the entity engages in criminal summoning around his office, which I also documented because this demon is inside and knows that I am documenting him as a terrorist and one that is unfit to be a part of the California bar. My documentation, my evidence will be used to have you disbarred. Sirs and madams, I hope you're paying attention because you will not be practicing law in California. While you have the people that say gang stalking me outside of your law office, that's the end of your law career. 7MYR916, this is P.O.C. That's a sex offender. She was also prepared to engage in vagina monitoring. These are sex offenders. This is the city of Upland, not Fontana under that fake sun where I'm capturing video. This isn't that. This is an overweight predator that's engaged in what is gang stalking me, concerned with my vagina. A communication device in hand, P.O.C. That's the pattern of conduct. And they're very hostile while you know that they're demons and that they're stalkers and that they're vagina monitors that are not magical. They're just sex offenders. P.O.C. This is the city of Upland, not different from the city of Ontario, 8NZL975. The fake sun moves as I move. Here it is. Ta-da! They're stalking. They're stalking, and that engineer light remains on that building. It's not sunlight. They're monitoring. And that is the inhumane means of stalking. They're mentally ill. That's the pattern of conduct. It is currently 8:41 a.m. That's COLLIN SHEEHY, San Bernardino County Fire. All right, that's the demon locally. This is all Mr. Muncie, who's not remaining as any fire chief. San Bernardino County Fire is gang stalking, meaning they're engaging in surveillance, and they use all the technology of a fire department, like being able to see thermal vision, if you will, through the walls in order to see you in the nude, to keep you under surveillance, to watch you while they're stalking you, and not engage in what is firefighting. This is the threat that COLLIN SHEEHY, a psychopath, gang stalking over here in the Upland City Civic Center, while the entity is pacing around me and doing so with regard to what is monitoring me. With the people of the state, they're all pacing around, and you know this because the fake sun is over me in Upland, California as a matter of history. Morning, afternoon, and evening. The entities engaged in nothing other than psychopathic pacing while stalking as a city, and names that are relevant with regard to removing them from positions that they are entirely unfit to engage in as a known sex offender, a known stalker, a known co-conspirator of murder, because I'm not the first one that COLLIN SHEEHY has gang stalked in a position as a so-called captain. He's a vagina monitor. He's a sex offender. He's a stalker. And they're using fire trucks. It doesn't get any more mentally ill. They're doing so at Errol and what is Euclid Avenue, pacing around me with the fire truck lights on. And that's just one of the vehicles. The demons are going around together as an entity, while the demons, who are the people of the state, are just pacing back and forth up and down Euclid Avenue. That's pacing in both directions. They're stalkers. This is the P.O.C. This is Upland, California, engaging in criminal summoning. And the entities engaging in criminal summoning under the fake sun in the evening, in the afternoon, at other hours, in other words, as you're looking at the duration of the fake sun. This is evidence that's already on the record. So they're engaging in the P.O.C., and this is documentation denoting that. And this is the entity that is under what is the corrupt terrorist leader, Bill Velto, who's financing, the financier, if you will, of terrorism throughout this city. Sharing in that pattern of conduct. The Upland City Hall is right here at the Upland Public Library, where I'm documenting egregious criminal activity, including by helicopter. Not different from Aquanetta Warren, I'm being terrorized by helicopter by the city police. Not different from Pollyanna, I'm being terrorized by helicopter by the city police right there at the door, at the same venue of those city halls. And they're all being removed from office and they're being prosecuted. This is P.O.C. The demon-possessed that are gang stalking, doing so as enemies of the United States. And accordingly, enemies of the United States are going to not benefit from any of what are privileges. You don't have a right to receive welfare. In case you didn't know that. You don't have a right to receive it, and no terrorist entity, no gang stalking city is going to receive that. Moreover, you're criminals, and you will not be receiving it on that basis. But you don't have a constitutional right. There's no such thing. These are privileges of citizens that are not a threat to the public, and domestic terrorists will receive no such benefits, no such privileges. That is P.O.C. It is currently 8:56 a.m. Talking with the people of the state at 11th Street in Euclid with Cable Airport. This is prison.
Vehicle 216, license 1671192. This is Cable Airport, where Upland Police are stalking, and the entity is doing so. Cable Airport is a third party engaging in surveillance in the city of Upland, and the city of Upland is also gang stalked with the city of Ontario, where commercial airline planes are stalking in a relevant position, like I've been documenting at the 10 freeway and on Euclid Avenue. The entity is gang stalking as I'm capturing their license plates at these open spaces right here. They're maintaining surveillance with the Upland Police Department. All right, that's the state that's conducting surveillance with the demons that are engaging in surveillance. This is psychopathic pacing. The entity is covering up the fake sun. It's already a matter of documentation. This is light activity, relevant positioning, crossing path over and over again. And as I document, the entity is stalking conspicuously, just like the demons of the Ontario Police Department do. By helicopter, as I'm documenting, doing so by vehicles, stalking in the dark like I documented last night, while the entity has a fake moon over my head and a fake sun, all the center of the universe, and this is what the entity is engaging in. Upland Police, that's Marcelo, Blanco, Darren Goodman, who's now gang stalking in San Bernardino Police, who are gang stalking me like I showed you, and they're all competing for what is the natural environment. That is, the defendants are showing how they are all targeting me together, because there's no competition. It's the natural environment. It would never be in Fontana. It would never be in San Bernardino. It would never be in Pomona. It would never be in Upland if that were the natural environment where the city of Ontario has championed what is the example, the template for prosecuting domestic terrorists. This is P.O.C. and it is prison. This is all stalking, and they're demons. 11th Street and Euclid Avenue, stalking with light. Demons that are stalking, and they're also monitoring you. So that's the psychopathic pacing in the engineer light while they're stalking you, remaining where you remain and following where you go. And this is what they do before they murder you. And the Upland Police are unfit to maintain what is any department while they're engaging in that with the people. That's why they're at 11th Street and Euclid. 7TLF024. These are the mentally ill. 9GNZ151. And they're very hostile, especially ones that spit out demon-possessed toddlers, little babies that are demons. They're very angry when they go to the Upland library, gang stalking, listening to my podcast. That's exactly what they are. They're demons that give birth to dead people, and their children are a threat to national security. I'm documenting them gang stalking me. License, Heart A205N0. This is P.O.C. This is all terrorism. And it's going by company name. The company names that are going to be prosecuted, and I'm going to prosecute Cable Airport, a third party that's engaging what is stalking in the path with the police, maintaining all manner of aerial surveillance, obsessive surveillance, just for little old me. They're demons. This is a demonic entity. 19917A4, 9LGY848. All these people stalking one person. They're mentally ill, and they're violent sex offenders. All these people together monitoring my vagina. That's why they're stalking in the Upland Public Library bathroom. That's the P.O.C. This is showing Upland Police as a violent sex offender and a stalker. It's 9:07 a.m. License plate. Gang stalking via Bank of America. License plate 9 George Edward Jerry 609. This is a female driving a black Honda at the Bank of America that's at the intersection of Foothill Boulevard and Euclid Avenue. A means of surveillance is driving in the parking lot while I'm walking on the sidewalk. A means of surveillance is also flying over like Cable Airport is doing. A means of surveillance is being at the traffic light, which is stalking in the path, while the entity is also controlling the traffic lights. You sit there for as long as the light turns red while the state controls those lights to keep you in the path, tracking your steps while the entity keeps a fake sun. This is all manner of what is surveillance by the state together. And they're all reserving what are a means of prosecuting while they're engaging in this conduct. This is the system. License 9XGH882, surveillance at the traffic light Foothill and Euclid. License 9YLT989, stalking. License plate 81337 Charlie 4, that's AAA. Well, that's a logo on it, that's a tow company. I'll get the company name right now. License plate A470H0, it's Golden Bear Towing. Just like I documented them gang stalking me a couple weeks ago, and I said very often gang stalking me in Upland at the Vons area. That's exactly where I'm at, Foothill and Euclid Avenue, right here at the Vons. This is Golden Bear Towing that's gang stalking as a business. This is a RICO case regarding the entire city of Upland. And as I'm showing you city to city, the pattern of conduct that is indistinguishable, it is distinct, and it is indistinguishable with regard to city. This is a statewide pattern of conduct that even the mayor, Gavin Newsom, shares in. And this is the prosecution for what is a federal RICO of every business and the federal RICO of the state of California. It is currently 9:13 a.m. while the entity is on the property of any facilitating venue, whether it's open or closed, that venue is going to be prosecuted. And I've shown why. They're not an innocent victim or ignorant. They are gang stalking at all hours of the day, including while the government is engaging in surveillance in the sky space, anywhere on the property, or even around it. Because that's how the government maintains surveillance, and that's how you're going to prosecute corrupt companies that are sharing in surveillance and profiting from it under any and all circumstances, and maliciously so, because they're not telling you that they are keeping you under surveillance, and they are. P.O.C. It is currently 9:14 a.m. The entity is monitoring, as I'm documenting, en route to Vons, and so it's not a matter of whether Vons is engaged in criminal monitoring, stalking literally in a building, which is psychotic, and it's the federal RICO case. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of how, and that's a documentation that's ongoing while they are on their own surveillance cameras, while they are maintaining a work schedule, while they're engaging in transactions, while they are engaging in everything that they're doing inside of the store. They're demons that are monitoring in the same manner that is underway outside. Light activity, relevant positioning, and audible activity. Doing so while they are monitoring the evidence, and the demons that are trickling in from Ontario are doing so while I document, such as the cursed womb, Exhibit A over there. Alrighty, this is the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct. Upland is gang stalking with the city of Ontario, and the entity is engaging in this while they're monitoring evidence. It's evidence relevant to the obsession with me. Okay, that's how that evidence is going to be viewed. Very obsessed as a stalker, and that includes Vons. And the obsession of a company speaks to unprecedented damages, and it speaks to enhanced time in prison for those that are engaging in that, including going to another city gang stalking, where you are not free to do so. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9:17 a.m. where the cursed room that's stalking in Ontario under the fake sun, speaking to intention and malice and knowledge, is with those same characteristics stalking inside of the Vons. Okay, P.O.C. It is currently 9:18 a.m. and this is speaking to the threat that Vons is. This is 80 West Foothill Boulevard in Upland, California. Fake sun at sunrise, fake sun setting, where they're gang stalking with those who they know have been surrounded with evidence and are including them in their pattern of conduct in Upland, California. Okay, that's P.O.C. That's the cursed one, the entity that's engaged in that P.O.C. at Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt, coming to what is Vons to share in the pattern of conduct, showing you how Upland and Ontario share that same P.O.C. Not different from all the rest of them. Okay, Satan doesn't have a race, but this particular cursed womb is engaged in, and is going to prison for harassment, and so she's coming to Vons, engaging in that P.O.C. And these are territorial demons. This is actually spiritual. So she's coming to Upland, another territory, if you will, to share in the pattern of conduct. The same thing when I document Starbucks. They'll have a demon that was gang stalking me at that venue, arriving to gang stalk me. You have the overweight demon that smells of urine, gang stalking at the Ovid Family Community Library, coming to Fontana, gang stalking. This is what the entity is typically doing as I refer to them in my evidence when I'm in a different territory, tying together all of that pattern of conduct. This is relevant to what is mental illness. Okay, and Vons is representing what is a threat also while gang stalking in this manner, speaking to the fact that it's the same threat. You're talking about poisoning the products. You're talking about engaging in what is vagina monitoring. You're talking about engaging in what is ongoing harassment while they engage in that. That's the pattern of conduct. And that is evidence against everybody in the entity that wants that's a type of presupposition, if you will, regarding the fact, even though their facts are already supporting and proving the pattern of conduct. When the entity is engaging in this, sending the same demons that were gang stalking at another venue. For example, I prosecuted Starbucks. So Starbucks is gang stalking while its customers or its employees or someone from that venue where that pattern of conduct is already established are coming to another venue to gang stalk you. The entity is doing nothing other than sharing in what is identifying in that criminal pattern of conduct, and that's how that evidence is used, and that's logically what that means. And that's also relevant to the threat. Poisoning the food, where the entity is engaging in that at Starbucks with the cursed womb, while she's stalking me in the grocery store, they're all engaging in that same P.O.C. But that goes without saying. Well, while they're engaging in it, let me go ahead and share that with you, because Starbucks is nothing other than a template. Stater Brothers is nothing other than a template. Okay, don't get married to the tree, always see the forest. Stater Brothers, that's poisoning American citizens. Gang stalking venues like Vons engage in the same pattern of conduct. And you know that. That's why the fake sun, aerial surveillance, cable, airport, the Upland Police Department, et cetera, are gang stalking. This is the pattern of conduct upon arrival, while Allied Universal, gang stalking, meeting me at the entrance, and the cursed womb pacing inside of the entrance. They're all obsessed with me. This is relevant to obsession. And these are a series of concessions that the entity is also making because they have, in fact, been defeated. But it is also going to be prosecuted as what it is. It's a threat to an American citizen who is not successful, who they successfully murder and oppress and also psychologically torture to the point to where they are, psychologically unraveling. And that's not because they're mentally ill, it's because they're being tormented by psychopaths like the curse room, psychopaths like the gang stalkers wearing police uniforms, psychopaths like those that are stalking like you see in the commercial planes, psychotic. All right, they're obsessively stalking American citizens that are ill-equipped to deal with it, and you shouldn't have to deal with that. And that's why the prosecution is going in the way in which you are looking at. This is a population that's going to be stripped of everything that it has and has abused while profiting in order to target other people. While they are the damned, and they know that they're going straight to hell, by the way, these are the demon-possessed. And so they want to make other people miserable while they are together as an entity targeting. And I want to make sure that this is relevant to the businesses. And businesses like Vons, this is the evidence that's accumulating, and with regard to what are shutting down, how many businesses are going to be shut down after I prosecute them. All right, this is all relevant evidence in that regard. It is currently 9:21 a.m. and this is documentation of what is a threat. All the products with regard to tampering, they're already stalking. They're making that clear. The entity is also engaged in what is that threat regarding poisoning products that they are keeping me under surveillance as I purchase them, as I even look at them. And the entity is stalking me through those previously documented gang stalkers literally inside of the store. But they're not targeting together. It doesn't remove any focus. This is what they say. They're all the same entity. All the same. Curse Womb comes in here. You already know what everybody else is doing. Curse Womb didn't even have to come in here. They're all the same entity. This is the entity that makes these concessions, though, as a stalker. There is no getting out of the P.O.C. And it is absurd to suggest the fake sun is over you and you're different because it's a different city that I haven't been to. This is how Donnie Youngblood is being prosecuted. And this is how they're already prosecuted while Donnie Youngblood is gang stalking me in Kern County. This is P.O.C. by helicopter, by the way. It's 9:22 a.m. at Vons in Upland, California. P.O.C. They said it's true. Why you can't tell me what it is?
That's what I'm asking.
Your name is Chen?
Yes, it's Chen.
What's your first name?
I don't need a title to tell you.
It will be on the back of your neck, though, right?
No, it's not.
Okay, so he's in here with a gun on his waist.
Okay, so is there a
And
reason?
this is Upland Police, Bartley. And can I get your partner's name?
Like I said, we got a call for you.
Yeah.
It's because you're taking pictures of people's license plates. Just
And
asking you. Yeah.
you're asking if I was?
Yes.
Is that a crime?
No, it's not.
Before I
That's
even
what I'm
answer the question, is that a crime?
asking. That's why I'm saying you're not detained or anything like that. I'm just asking.
No, but they called you in the store for something that's not a crime, and it's alleged, and it's not a crime, and you spent resources to come in the grocery store search me out to do that?
You gotta go to everything that's suspicious, right?
That's not suspicious if it's not a crime.
Not suspicious of. That's what.
That's P.O.C. They're running out because they know that they don't have anything. And that was Jose Villalobos. It's not suspicious when it's not a crime. They're fleeing the scene because they're gang stalking, and this is Vons engaging criminal summoning. These old biddies are monitoring. You're reporting to the scene regarding what is not a crime, and that's Vons that's monitoring. You see him over here engaging in inventory? He's gang stalking. They're engaging in criminal summoning right now, and I ask him a pivotal question. Well, it's suspicious. Well, no, it's not suspicious if it's not a crime. And if I am taking pictures of license plates, which you have to be focusing on me in order to pay attention to that, this is the entity that is because they're gang stalking, but you have to be paying close attention and not one that's minding your business and ignorant about me while you're assuming what I'm doing on my device, whether I'm holding it or not. You're holding it all the time doing a plethora of things. Moreover, you sought me out in the store with a gun on your waist while the people of the state are monitoring together, and they're engaging in what is asking me questions that I don't have to answer. It's not suspicious. It's direct opposite when it's not a crime. You're not getting any facts, giving you any reasonable suspicion, or even asking a question. You are engaging in what is intimidation with, his name is Villalobos, that's federal prison, while they're gang stalking with Curse Womb, engaging in what is harassment. This is an employee right here that's gang stalking with what is the Upland Police Department, who were gang stalking en route to this venue. And they're doing so because I'm looking up the manager. His name is Eric. And this is the entity that's engaged in what is poisoning products. And I want to make sure that this is clear. This is relevant to exactly what it is that I'm going to document regarding those that are in position at the Vons that's engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring and furtherance of murder as the city of Upland that has the police coming in here gang stalking me while they are stalking in this grocery store. That's literally the evidence that they are gang stalking while Upland police just came in here asking questions about that which is not a crime. Doing so with a gun on their waist and badges on like they have authority to do so, asking questions about that which is not criminal activity. So why are you spending time and resources and seeking me out in the grocery store to do so? This is the entity that's engaged in that. So what, someone called you and said that they're doing something that is perfectly within the confines of the law. All right? It's because they're gang stalking and the entity is using that as a means of trying to intimidate. While I'm on the internet looking up the employees at the Vons grocery store, they're in the pharmacy area gang stalking. They're engaged in what is running away at the moment that I'm asking Chin, who is going to prison, that's engaging, and everyone that you saw in the video is engaging in gang stalking. They have a gang come in here, and that's supposed to intimidate me because they know what I'm looking at. And that's the management at Vons. This is P.O.C. This is Shelby. Yeah, Shelby's gang stalking. This is the pattern of conduct, and they're engaging in what is harassment as a business, having Upland Police come in here. And that's a threat to my life as well, including poisoning. So this is documentation. Villalobos, Shelby, this is the entity that's engaging in the pattern of conduct. Nothing, I'm just documenting the ongoing harassment. Thank you. That's the pattern of conduct while they're engaging in that and coming in and searching me out for something that's not a crime, but yet you have Villalobos escorting them into the store and approaching me. That's textbook P.O.C. Okay, the same tactic underway by the city of Ontario. Okay, and that's what they're doing while they're surveilling you, and you're supposed to be scared. Remember, these are demons that are monitoring. They're waging how you feel about that. Are they affecting you? If you don't know your rights, they keep hounding you. They try to corner you with questions that you don't even have to answer because they're testing your knowledge. They're doing that with regard to whether they can get away with even harassing you, escorting you out, trying to block you from returning, even kidnapping you. Also criminally defaming you. Everybody in the store is gang stalking, including Vons, and I'm going to prosecute Vons. Okay, Vons is sharing in the pattern of conduct with Stater Brothers. That's engaged in poisoning the food that I'm purchasing, and they're present with, again, Cursed Woman, who's going to prison. She's gang stalking me with Ontario Police, and she comes to Upland gang stalking with the Upland Police Department, and they're very fearful, which is why they engage in criminal summoning right now. Pay attention and run the tape back to how peculiar that was with regard to what it is that I'm stating. And then, again, criminal summoning is criminal activity. It's used for them to monitor you. It's also used for them to rapidly escape out of what is a common sense inquiry regarding there's nothing suspicious when it's not a violation of the law. Why are you in my face in the grocery store? You sought me out. 3 of them. Okay, with the employees who are focused on me necessarily making false accusations, making presumptions about what I'm doing on my device. And even if I am, it's not a violation of the law. And you went to the extent to admittedly call the police, that's prison. Everybody in the bakery is gang stalking. Everybody in the register is gang stalking. Everybody at the deli is gang stalking. Everybody shopping in the venue is gang stalking. Okay, that's P.O.C. This is Upland, California, that's gang stalking, which the evidence already shows. They're competing with Ontario, San Bernardino, and Fontana, and Pomona, and the entities engaging in this while I am documenting those that any poison, anything that I'm experiencing while I'm public. I just want to be clear. Everybody that's on the job right now, the entire store, they're going to federal prison. They're already subject to prison with regard to escorting the police inside of the store, gang stalking. I just want to be clear, bakery, just as simple, federal prison, because they're sharing in the elements with the police right now. This is an entity these are bully tactics, and the bullies are going to be locked up. Period. They're going to be locked up. All right, that's the pattern of conduct. This is how pathetic the entity is. This is Marcelo Blanco. Marcelo Blanco is not remaining as any police chief. Violating my laws, monitoring my vagina in the bathroom of Vons, monitoring my vagina in the bathroom of the Upland Police, and gang stalking me inside of the grocery store because I have the nerve to document, which I will absolutely document, and it's not a violation of the law, and they are gang stalking me with regard to the illusion that anybody from Vons had to call them. Upland Police are already stalking me. Chen calls himself interrogation has a legal definition, but this is asking me any questions, which you're stating that I'm free to answer, but it is still an unlawful encounter. You're stalking. That was conspicuous stalking with a gun on his waist. Chen is going to prison. Everybody in that group, and it is also the employees. His name was Villalobos. This is P.O.C. It is currently pursuant to criminal summoning by Vons that's hostile to American citizens and their rights, engaging what is tampering with the products in order to poison them with regard to the target individual. While you see them stalking them, they're engaging what is also tampering with them, and doing so stalking with the police who came into the store, showing that ongoing pattern of conduct. And if you're engaging in that, you've already set yourself up for prison, and that's exactly where you're going. You're going straight to prison. This is P.O.C. It is currently 9:35 a.m. This is criminal summoning inside of the Vons. That's how desperate they are. That's how desperate. I just want to be clear. Their obsession is an unlawful threat. It's not a compliment. This is the fruits of obsession while they are stalking me. They being the city of Upland, the people of the state, who are engaging in the pattern of conduct. It is currently 9:36 a.m. The manager's name, this is store 2681, Eric Rodriguez, is engaged in criminal summoning, having the Upland Police summoned to the store pursuant to what is targeting me, just like I stated, and where the police are arriving pursuant to the absence of any criminal activity. To the contrary, pursuant to the criminal activity by the very police that are arriving and the people that are inside of that grocery store, including those that are working under the corrupt leadership of Eric Rodriguez. His last name is Villalobos. He's on the video gang stalking me with the Upland Police Department, who are making what are unfounded accusations by mere possession of my device. I'm holding my phone in the same way, by the way, that where you would be making an accusation that I'm taking a picture of you, which is not a crime, by the way. You're not in your home. I'm not peeking in your windows. I'm not not on your private property where it's not, but that's going to be the basis to prosecute the state. But I'm not on where they're exercising that illusion. Oh, you're on my private property. It's not private property because they're gang stalking you where they live. But nonetheless, the entity's engaged in that. I'm not in the bathroom stall breaking in and taking a picture of you. You don't have any reasonable expectation of privacy in a parking lot and a license plate or in the grocery store. But moreover, this is the entity that is engaging in that, and that's because they are fearful. These demons are scared. And when they're scared, they engage in murder. They engage in criminal defamation. They engage in harassment. They engage in terrorism, like in planes and with helicopters. And this is literally following from Ontario to Upland. Eric Rodriguez is his name. And Eric Rodriguez is going to federal prison should I experience any symptoms consuming food purchased from Vaughn's that is stalking me with the demons from Ontario, California, specifically communicating a threat in doing so and proving that they are sharing that pattern of conduct. Is Eric Rodriguez in today? Mm-hmm. Oh, is he here? Okay, I'd like to talk to him because I had the police called on me for no reason. And yes, it was horrible, very terrifying, and then they just ran out.
What was that?
I have no idea. I was trying to find out why they were coming to me about something that supposedly happened in the parking lot, and all I did was walk into the store, put my bags in, and I'm looking for food. So I had to look up a receipt to find out his name, Eric Rodriguez, why the police are being called on me by an employee. I saw an employee with them. So I'm assuming that an employee told them, oh, there she is right there, like I did something. He was in the back too. He was in the back of the store as well. But I don't know what I would like to know. That's what I want to document, why the police were called on me, because I did not break the law. And I just want to buy something to eat.
Well, I came in and I saw them like walking. I'm like, hello?
Yeah.
Do me a favor and fix this. He wanted apple and I got the ass.
You won't be able to get final sale?
But I do have the correct name, though, Eric Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Okay, and he is in today?
Living car.
Okay, thank
What
you.
do I do?
It's the final sale, or you're gonna have to. Yeah, it's the final sale.
Hold on, let me do it.
This is P.O.C. because they're monitoring right now, but I'm going to get this on the record because I'm going to prosecute them. And everybody in the store is subject to prison, you understand? And when they're gang stalking, you're talking about large amounts of people that are going to be prosecuted at one time. Everybody in the store. Alrighty, this is P.O.C.
Okay.
I just want you to see this is a Vaughn's receipt. This is how I was able to get his name. And I'm looking it up on the internet, and then the police approached me.
He's on his way out.
Thank you.
He's gonna have to eat it.
Hi, Mr. Rodriguez. My name is Erica. I'd like to. Sorry, I'm bundled up because it's cold outside.
Oh, yes.
I'm here underneath it. The police were caught. I don't know if you were watching on the surveillance cameras. Did you catch it?
I've been busy. I haven't got a chance to look at my cameras.
Okay, well, I was in the back of the store near the produce, like the corner right when you turn where the meat section from the produce, the corner here. And I just wanted to tell you, the manager, because your name is on the receipt, so you're the head of everything here. I recognize that. And I just wanted to speak to my experience inside of the store. A group of police officers approaching me, and I have not done anything wrong inside of this establishment.
I didn't even call the police number one.
It was one of your employees, though, that it had to do with it was someone, and all I saw was Villalobos. The last name was Villalobos was a male, and he was in there, and like he was escorting them to me, like I have energy children, so I don't know what caused you to continue in the store. But this is somebody that's there, the police are saying that I'm doing something in the parking lot wrong, and in the midst of trying to find out what did I do, then they run out of the store. They come in and ask me questions that there's no, I didn't break the I know my rights, so I'm like, why are you here? Why got this person? I'm in a grocery store of all places. And then not only that, there's no group of people in here that are saying, I'm doing something to anybody. Okay, so I don't know why you're here right now. And then when I'm asking him, what is it that you're referring to that's not a violation of the law, then all of a sudden they run out of the grocery store. This is very disconcerting, and it makes me feel unsafe inside of the store. And I wanted to ask you, are you aware of anything that I've done?
Not at all.
Is there anything that I'm doing that is...
So let
Go ahead.
me interject. So the cops are to my door. Do you have any concerns? No, I don't.
So someone did, you are kind of aware about what
The
happened?
cops knocked at my door, but not that I called them.
Right.
Do I have any concerns? No.
But it's one of your subordinates that called, correct?
I don't even know that.
Villalobos is there. That's the name. I don't know the first name. It will be on your camera.
Okay.
He walks into the employee office, and I guess where the meats are walking out of there. But the last name is Villalobos, and he's standing with the police talking to them like there's some, like it's making it seem like they're feeling like something happened and nothing happened. And that's very disconcerting. And it makes me uncomfortable. I'm a super customer of mine. I'm thinking you have have them deliver groceries to me. And now in Upland, I'm coming as a patron, and I'm doing the same thing that everybody else is doing. So I just wanted to talk to the manager because I would like to not be such a disaster of conduct in front of the store. I don't know if your employees are calling on me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll put a lot of it.
Okay.
I guarantee you that. I will.
Okay. So I just wanted to.
Did it come from me? No, it came from somebody in the store.
I hear you're saying. You're saying you are not the one that called the police. So you're.
Well, at the end of the day, I represent the store.
Exactly. That's exactly what I know. That I know
Is there
that.
any concern about you now?
I've never seen it before. I never felt like I needed to talk to you before either. But I felt like I needed to in this circumstance. Regardless of how I look, I'm a law-abiding citizen, and I'm fine. Well, I'm saying I'm coded. I don't know. People have issues though. People are just like, you know, and I don't care about that. That's not my problem. I will fully communicate and show that I am a law-abiding citizen, and I have a right, like everybody else, to buy if I can buy food. You know, and not be intimidated by food. So by getting down, there was a lot of manpower used for something that's not a crime. Nobody knows what happened. Thank you for taking out time to speak with me.
You got any else? When they knock on my door, I'm here for
Okay.
you.
Okay. You are aware of an employee that you have with National Villalobos, however, right?
There is a Villalobos around here. I'll have a conversation with them.
I think it's Jose Villalobos. That's what's coming to mind right now. Jose Villalobos. Okay, he was merely in the presence of them. That's not to say that he's the only one with them.
Did he ever come up to you and ask
He didn't say anything. That's what I'm saying. What's so weird? Nobody said anything. And then the police are just there. And so that's a very harassing environment. And if someone like myself isn't able to effectively communicate, I can find myself in a very unfair circumstance. And so that's why I like to be clear at the outset. What happened? Why are you in my presence? They don't want to tell me. They run out of the store. And this is your store, sir. So that's why I want to come in.
Number one, well, they actually control the city, so
They control the city.
They should be
But
giving you.
this is, yes, they should. But they should be getting, they're here, right? But you have to call them. They don't just walk in here bothering people. You're like, hey, we have a problem and we need you to come fix it. That's typically how that process
Yeah,
works.
well, true. Absolutely true, but I don't know what transpired outside for them to come in.
Exactly. That would be on surveillance cameras too, though, right? Yeah. Me walking up and, yeah. Okay. I just wanted
But
to.
if you haven't done nothing, then you're fine.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't have nothing
Right.
that I have a problem with you on. Because
Right.
this is my first time even meeting you.
Right, or seeing you. I've never seen you before either. Right, exactly. Thank you, Mr. Rodriguez. You have a good day, sir.
You have a great day.
Alrighty, this is P.O.C. And that is an encounter with Mr. Rodriguez. Jose Villalobos is his name. Eric Rodriguez is gang stalking. He is literally in the store sharing in the elements of monitoring and doing so with the customers. And as I'm in custody of my phone, as I'm documenting anything, that is well within the confines of the law. The entity wants to harass and establish by virtue of gang members stating, oh, it's weird, it's weird, it's weird, I don't like it. That's not a violation of the law. And that's literally what they're engaging in. It is gang violence. And it is that which is in furtherance of kidnapping, criminal defamation, harassment, while they are actually the criminals engaging in that, including while that iteration of the pattern of conduct is underway. This is P.O.C. I am on the surveillance cameras. It is currently 9:48 a.m. This is the pattern of conduct that the city of Upland is engaging in, and any sort of harms that I'm suffering. Eric Rodriguez, who you just heard, is one of many that are going to prison. Everybody in this store is going to federal prison. This is why I keep records of my receipts, including the fact that the city of Ontario, Allied Universal, the security guard gang stalking me. And another tactic of doing that is so that when you're in a city and you don't know anyone, the entity sends in territorial demons, if you will, people that can identify, oh yeah, I know her. She's the one that's always causing trouble at Starbucks. Her name is da-da-da-da-da-da-da. So that way the demons at Upland that don't have a basis to identify you can get assistance from the demons that are coming to Ontario. This is how gang violence works, by the way. Under all circumstances, there is no iteration, there's no illusion. They're gang stalking. The federal government is watching me prosecute them. And you're looking at every iteration of regarding what is gang violence. Gang violence is terrorism. It's domestic terrorism. And domestic terrorists are going to prison. Domestic terrorists that literally engage in what they just did with the Upland police, they go to prison. You're going to federal prison. Because what the police do, they commit kidnapping. You're helping a kidnapping underway. You're helping to threaten kidnapping. You're going to prison. Jose Villalobos, I believe her name is Shelby. The demon that was in the back stalking inventory, I don't need their names because the federal government, they're going to prison, everybody that works inside of the store. Vons is documented on the record routinely engaging in vagina monitoring. Eric Rodriguez is very familiar with my vagina. Okay, so I am maintaining documentation while I'm having that encounter, while he is entirely disingenuous regarding targeting me and everything that you're listening to regarding that, because on the surface, they're engaging what is what's supposed to be normalcy, but you know that this is the pattern of conduct. That's why the fake son is over. Eric Rodriguez knows exactly who I am, and he knows that I'm documenting him for federal prison as well. He knows that as well. All right, so this is the entity that's playing that game, and I'm going to prosecute you while you're playing that game. The entities engaged in this with regard to monitoring my device, and so better than looking up his name on the internet, how about I just interview him and document him with regard to who's going to federal prison, with regard to what is stalking by the police. I just want to be clear, I don't have to be poisoned by Vons. But that is another basis. You're going to prison. You tamper with the products that I purchased. You're going to prison. I would just want to be clear, gang stalking with Upland Police, that's already established. It's already been committed. All right, and I'm going to leave that there. It is currently 9:51 a.m. This is P.O.C. at 81 West Foothill Boulevard. This is criminal summoning. These are the criminal tactics of an entity that seeks to obstruct justice while they are indeed gang stalking. P.O.C. Alrighty, it is currently 10:04 a.m. So this is documentation that is essentially, this is how this works because it's a pattern of conduct. I'm going from place to place showing you the pattern of conduct. So the evidence is treated as though it's all the same place, if you will. Stater Brothers is exactly the same as Vons, in other words. Okay, different employees, different address, same venue, same facilitating venue, meaning the same behavioral pattern by those at that venue, same criminal pattern, same objective. Vons is engaged in what is blocking the aisles. Vons is not typically behaving like this at all, okay? So while, again, it's hot stuff that I'm coming to Upland now after coming from Fontana, San Bernardino, Ontario, Pomona, they all sit up and watch that evidence, and then the entity is aware that I'm going to be coming to what is Upland, all right? So the entity is engaging with, it's not poor customer service, it's not just unprofessionalism, it's gang stalking. It's relevant to getting in your path. It is showing that the focus is not being one that's maintaining excellence regarding customer service, focusing on customers and selling products. It is surveillance. That's why they engage in that, and it's a pattern, and they're engaging in that conduct while they are aware that I am, well, meaning they're targeting me. That's why you're aware of who I am, and that's why they're engaging in that. But Vons blocking the aisles, Vons engaging what is stalking the inventory at 10 o'clock in the morning. These are things that typically prudent business, wise decision makers, they're doing that before customers are in the business, or excuse me, are in the venue shopping, because you don't want to get into it. These are just ordinary tactics of a business. The entity is, there's no law that says you can't stock inventory during the course of the day while customers are in there, so that's why they're doing it. But this is typically what an entity is doing while they're monitoring you. Okay, a business that's legitimate, you're doing all that inventory when it's closed. You're doing it overnight. You're not doing it and getting in the way of customers unless you're gang stalking them to have a reason to conspicuously be in their path, monitoring them with communication devices, which is what Vons is doing. And I mean, for the Upland Police Department to come in here, it's as clear as the fake sun. All right, but they do it every day. I document it, and they engage in that, and they are blocking the path inside of the aisles while they're monitoring, and that includes Eric Rodriguez, who was blocking the path, and they're also doing so while they're I've never been so hard pressed to find a product. Excuse me, thank you for moving out of the way. I appreciate it. I've never been so hard pressed to try to find a product such as peanut butter. Okay, this is the entity that is engaged in what is monitoring and is targeting. And I've been through almost all the aisles and I cannot find any peanut butter. They have a little bit that's on display. Remember, when an entity is worshiping you, like the demons are, you will find what are souvenirs regarding acts that they've committed against you. Like, for example, Chin of Upland Police coming in, gang stalking. The entity will engage in displaying a product that has the name Chin on it. And that's a reference to the entity engaging in criminal summoning with Officer Chin of Upland Police. That's the type of stuff that they engage in. You're paying attention to the signals. It's being able to understand an entity that's they're not sly or clever or witty or intelligent. They're not sneaky. They're not elite. They're merely stalkers, and that's it. They're just stalkers, and they're obsessed stalkers, and they're very mentally ill. And I'm showing how unintelligent that they are, and they're engaging in what are things that are clear regarding business practices while they're gang stalking. regarding poor customer service and ways in which they're able to maintain the elements of monitoring while they're doing so in an obsessive manner. And so this is why you have the store in a disarray. This is why you have the entity with products all over the floor. And this is not typical of how, well, any grocery store, but Vons in particular. All right, when I arrived for the first time in a long time, this is the entity that it's like they're demons and they start to act out as I am present, and then they begin acting out their true character. Okay, so but nonetheless the store gets sloppier, it gets louder. Okay, the entity gets more egregious, such as stalking with the police today. All right, and that's evidence, by the way, just as an aside. Everything that I documented coming up the street in Upland, California, documenting the entity stalking at the 10 freeway, documenting all those license plates, documenting Upland Police stalking at 11th Street and Euclid Avenue, showing you what they're doing, documenting Cable, Airport, gang stalking. That's all confirmed while the Upland Police come into the Vons grocery store gang stalking. I don't need that, but this is just letting you know that I'm not making anything up, obviously, and the entity is also engaging in what is a very clear and consistent and ceaseless pattern of conduct. But that's relevant to the P.O.C. All right, I'm sorry, excuse me, do you work here? Or do you know where I can get an employee that works here? Do you work here? Do you work here, or are you guys just vendors? Oh, okay. Thank you. Oh, hi. Can I ask you a question? Where is I've been looking for, like, peanut butter, jelly. What is that?
Yeah, that'd be on aisle 14, I believe.
14?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I went over there. I'll go look again. Thank you. On the left side? That would be, what side? This is Potts.
Yeah, like I'm saying, if you're to go forward and further down, it'll be on this, like the center.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. The vendors are the ones that are in the store stalking. Stalking is S-T-O-C-K-I-N-G is stalking. S-T-A-L-K-I-N-G. Okay, they are stalking while they are stocking inventory in the specific environment, and they're doing so pursuant to what is monitoring. It's the same presence in all the aisles while the customers are engaging in the customers are the same people of the state. This is the city of Upland. What are they doing in Upland, California while the Stetter brothers at 646 West Hall is under a fake sun from 6 to 4 after 4 p.m. as a matter of duration of time at one location. They are engaged in criminal surveillance, where Chin has a very poor means of audible activities, and that poor means of what is gang stalking, blatantly stalking somebody that you are hopeful doesn't know their rights and can't very clearly and immediately call you out on what is the impropriety of you not only being in my face, but chasing me down in a store regarding something that's not even unlawful. Thus, nothing suspicious about it, even hearing about it. Literally, the people of the state, if they were not gang stalking together, someone calls, help, someone is taking a picture of my license plate. Literally, the police should be like, so what? Literally. And what else? Someone took a picture of my license plate, and what else? What else? Because this is the entity that's engaged in criminal summoning. It's the police that are stalking, and that's an illusion. And because they're engaged in that illusion, you're in my face. You are stalking, Chin, and Baltic is his name. All three of them federal prison. All right, and then you're talking about the employees subject to federal prison. But all three of them are gang stalking me. They're stalking me, and their excuse for stalking is that someone called them. That's how desperate the Upland Police are to intimidate me. They want to be in my face and monitor me personally. They're obsessed with my vagina, just like them going to the bathroom. This is the obsession while the police department is stalking me. That's the level of desperation, and they have to do it in reliance on the people. So the people told you what? That I am using my phone, because that's what you're getting. You're assuming that that's true. There is, and also taking a picture, get video of me using my phone in the parking lot. There is no violation of the law. When if the entity were not gang stalking, this is very clear cut out, and that's an illusion because they're monitoring together, and because Chin is engaged in that level of malicious conduct, Chin is subject to mental examinations. So is Jose Villalobos. So is Eric Rodriguez. So is Shelby, that's gang stalking. So is everybody, Jeanette, I believe her name is, that's gang stalking, working at the register. They're all engaged in that pattern of conduct together. They're doing so while they are monitoring. The cursed womb is in the store. Allied Universal, the same security guard, gang stalking because they want to establish a familiar. There is no such thing as establishing familiarity. You're gang stalking. And they know that the true basis of your knowledge of my identity because you're gang stalking. The entity is still delusional with regard to, oh, well, this is the entity. It's also communicating a threat subconsciously to you because they're coming into, you can't, in other words, get away from them. You're moving to another area, and then you're going to see the demons from the old town that you moved from. That's the entity communicating a threat. The entity is also engaging in that with regard to going to another city while I'm prosecuting, I'm documenting. And you're talking about a demon that I've seen for the first time. That demon knows who I am, but they can't state that. So you have a demon that's quote unquote familiar because of prior documentation. That's what it is. You're familiar with because you were stalking me. But the entity is engaging, oh, I'm familiar. She was always causing problems. I know her from Ontario. I know her from X, Y, and Z, wherever. And that's how the entity would engage in what is identifying you when otherwise you should not be able to, but for having some basis of knowledge of me beforehand. These are the tactics employed behind gang stalking, territorial demons that are gang stalking, such as the cursed one from Stater Brothers coming to Vaughn's, where they engaged in criminal summoning. She's already going to federal prison. She's already going to federal prison. But she's going to federal prison while targeting me with the Upland Police Department who engage in criminal summoning. And all of the facts that I document that exist before and after Chin is approaching me in a grocery store, which the Upland Police have no right to do so. And they clearly do so because I am enforcing my rights. And as I am doing so, that is documentation. I wanted to record that because the entity is monitoring using the PA system. But nonetheless, that is documentation of what is retaliation, obstruction of justice. That's an obstruction of justice tactic. To throw me off, I'm looking up Eric Rodriguez on the internet.
Attention service desk. 2 0 0.
That is monitoring, having the beeping and interfering with the music. That's a monitoring tactic. Everybody in the store is monitoring. It's just a method of noise. And the entity does that over and over and over again. It's not a failure. They've been doing that for years also before 2026. This is Vaughn's gang stalking. This is, again, 81 West Foothill. Nonetheless, Chin is engaging in the malicious means whereby the entity is gang stalking, where, oh, you don't even know the basis of what is trying to establish reasonable suspicion, just asking questions so that you can acquire reasonable suspicion, perhaps, by the demeanor and the responses of an American citizen. That's not what you're doing when the accusation is entirely lawful. Meaning someone calls you and tells you, help! Oh my goodness! They're taking a picture of my license plate. And what? What else? What else? But this is, I want to be clear, this is why the laws are going to change, because this is upon surveillance. So the entity that's engaging in surveillance engages in what is criminal summoning. Calling the police, and the police are, oh, okay, our bad, we didn't know. We're just reporting based on the call that we received, because we didn't come on our own. We came because the people of the state requested our presence, and I'm doing my job. I'm executing the duties of an officer as I'm merely inquiring about what it is that you are doing, when in fact they're engaged in surveillance. And it is an excuse for a stalker wearing a police uniform with a gun on their hip to threaten your life with regard to murdering you for under any and all circumstances at any moment. Chin's going to prison, okay? Chin is going to federal prison, and so is Baltic and the other partner, and they begin running when I am pointing out the obvious. And I'm going to say it again because it is relevant to how American citizens are murdered when they're gang stalking in the grocery store, and they think that they're going to stalk you by the police, and that's going to stop you from documenting, because that's the purpose of that. Okay, we're going to shut that down right now. Get the police on her. You're going to prison. I mean everybody in the store. It's a lot of bodies, and that's exactly what's going to happen, though. Everybody in the grocery store going to federal prison. And there are many ways that the transactions that they've engaged in, that's evidence. The surveillance cameras, that's evidence. The entity, all of the communication devices, just like you would investigate a murder, everybody inside of the store is going to federal prison under those circumstances. This is the entity that's engaging in that pattern of conduct, and they're doing so with regard to obstruction of justice, and they're stalking even while they do it. And a demon, a psychopath, a malicious psychopath that's plotting to take your life and harass you and psychologically torture you, tells you that they are only in your presence because someone else called you. Moreover, they called you about that which isn't even a violation of the law. That even if you were to admit it in that conversation, which you don't have to because they are there in violation of your rights in the first place, it's not a violation of the law, and they never are gaining any sort of information that is suspicious under any circumstances, unless you're ignorant, unless you're intimidated by them, which you reasonably are while they have a gun on their hip, talking to you about that which you have a right to engage in, but that they don't like, and they even communicate about it in a manner that they show they do not approve of. But it doesn't matter what they approve of. It matters what the law states, what is actually unlawful. That is designed to psychologically torture you. That is a threat, expressed and implied, and it's that which is in furtherance of murdering you while they are still stalking literally through the course of that conversation. Chin is stalking in a police uniform. He's going to prison. Marcelo Blanco is gang stalking me while that pattern of conduct is underway by all the demons of that department. And I documented one gang stalking me at 11th and Euclid Avenue, and I documented Chin and Baltic and the other partner inside of the grocery store. And this is Marcelo Blanco's federal case that I'm prosecuting. He's going to lose. He's going to prison. So I'm going to let you know that. But these are departments that are not going to remain. Upland Police, they don't need to exist as a department. These cities are engaged in surveillance. They don't need a police department. They're engaged in criminal activity. You don't need a police department. It's a waste of millions of dollars. You see what they're doing with it? They're stalking using the planes and the helicopters. They're using the all of the venues like the grocery store to share in criminal activity. They're using the police department. It's a crime scene. That police department is a headquarters for criminal activity. The entities engaged in that is literally, as you're gang stalking, you are providing evidence to disband that department. I don't think the demons understand it, so I'm going to repeat that again for those that are in the back. A gang stalking police department is thereby exposing itself as being dispensable. You're gang stalking, you're unnecessary. You are absolutely unnecessary. It is the direct opposite of what is the purpose of a police department in that city, a city that is riddled with corruption that you are leading in. And the evidence of gang stalking in California under my groundbreaking prosecution shall be the disbanding of agencies like the Ontario Police, like the Fontana Police, and like what you're witnessing, the Upland Police, who don't have anything to do, stalking me into the grocery store. Oh, you don't need to exist as a police department. You're not even that. And the entity is engaging in this, and these are the things this is exactly what's going to happen. This is exactly what's going to happen. And I have years of evidence of the Upland Police Department stalking. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is currently 10:20 a.m. and I did find the peanut butter and area. And this is, again, the entity that's stalking by the police, the entity that's stalking by planes, the entity that's stalking by a bunch of hostile demons, calling the police on you. This is why the people in the state are being prosecuted. Nobody's going to cry for those people when they're homeless. No one's going to cry and feel bad for them. And you know why? They are terrorists. So you need to understand in your mind what's going on in the United States. It's essentially Osama bin Laden that is an American citizen living amongst us. Okay, that is an enemy to this country, and he is not going to receive welfare benefits. He's not going to get any government entitlements. He's not going to reap the benefits of being in this country because he is an American citizen that is amongst us. This is axiomatic. Okay, and this is if he's not subject to prison. This is upon being released from federal prison as a domestic terrorist. And this is not a foreign concept. It's not a conspiracy theory. This is the reality. And they're walking around as kindergarten teachers, at-home moms, giving birth to demons systematically, walking around during the day in the grocery store, gang stalking, vagina monitoring, and then going back home and making dinner for their demon-possessed family. Okay, this is the entity that's engaged in that, and that's the households that are going to be identified as terrorists, and they will be stripped of any means of reaping any sort of benefit from being in this country as enemies that are dwelling amongst us. They're not receiving any sort of benefits whatsoever. The police department in that city is serving and leading in terrorism. It will be removed. And you're talking about what is the discovery of an abundance of resources. These demons are the ones that are siphoning up the resources that can be better used and more practically applied to legitimate and beneficial resources that are needed by upright citizens that are fully capable and not engaging in this pattern of conduct. In fact, the ones that are targeted, like myself. Okay, this is the reason why the entity is seeking to criminalize homelessness, and homelessness is a result of targeting, by the way. All right, the entities engaging in this, that's a reason for that. That's a direct purpose for it. The targeted individuals that are engaged in that, and many of them are not, they've given up already. This is what I mean. That's the way that the system is supposed to result. All right, you've been psychologically tortured, you've been drugged, you've been abused, you've been kidnapped, you've given up on life, and you were not mentally ill, but you can definitely unravel and become one that is likened to someone that is mentally ill. But this is actually people who are traumatized. All right, and were they given any assistance, were they given any compassion, they'll come right back to life. All right, but this is an entity that's engaging in what is targeting and creating that illusion of mental illness when they are the mentally ill, a whole population of their demons, they're psychopaths, they're under a fake sun, and they're stalking, targeting American citizens, and doing so in things like grocery stores, and doing so such as calling the demon-possessed police because they're scared that they're being documented. And it's not going to stop it, it's going to make it worse. They need to be on the street. This is what they've been doing to American citizens. They need to figure out and experience what it's like to seek out assistance and not get it. And it's going to be not an injustice, but justice. All right, that's what you need to understand. It's essentially Osama bin Laden that is an American citizen, not a foreign terrorist, but a domestic one. That's what the people of the state is. That's what this is. And this is stripping, defunding terrorism that is underway in the United States. It is currently 10:23 a.m. This is relevant to Eric Rodriguez, who was fully documented. The entity that's gang stalking is the entity that's very much engaged in what is murder through venues such as Stater Brothers and Vons that are poisoning products, and you're unaware of the fact that there is surveillance, so it's very specific and targeted conduct, not an accident, not something that the FDA learns about. The FDA is a means of maintaining an illusion, maintaining what is an illusion regarding even informing the masses when this is an act committed by an entity that is targeting people. Okay, this is P.O.C, and this is evidence of that because everybody in this grocery store is going to federal prison. I mean, in a stomach cramp, you're going to federal prison. All right, and I'm not exaggerating and I'm not being facetious, and that is the case. I never am. Well, actually, when I am laughing, I tell why I'm laughing because it is very serious and it's not a matter of entertaining, contrary to the demons that are engaging and treating this like it's a Hunger Games, like it's some TV show, like it's a soap opera. They're the same demon-possessed entity. All right, and they are going to be excluded with regard to going forward as the ways in which the Lord God is progressing a people that have been targeted for a long time. They're not going to be a part of that anyway. They're sitting up watching, just like they are as stalkers. They're sitting up watching, and they're going to watch their own downfall. That's what's happening. But the entities engaging in this level of conduct and any sort of harm that I suffer, I'm documenting it. And every time that I am engaging in what is laughing, I make it very clear, what am I laughing at? Gang stalking is not funny. An American citizen being gang stalked is not humorous at all, at any level, for any circumstances, at any point. At all. Vagina monitoring is not entertaining. It's not funny. That's the conduct of sex offenders. And you need to know that the terrorists that are engaged in this are violent sex offenders, contrary to the illusion that they present. Sex offenders need to be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. And if you violate me, I'm going to report you because I have a right to not be targeted. But that's a vagina monitor that's monitoring your genitalia under a whole fake environment. Not only are they a sex offender knowing what's going on between your legs, which is shared as a society that is silently keeping all of us under surveillance, they are doing so while they are maintaining that duplicitous character. Okay, they're really one thing and presenting, living a whole life as though it's other, and they're doing this as a group, i.e. group stalking, as an entity, the public entity. It's also a demonic entity, and they're doing it through corporate entities like Vons in the bathroom. Okay, and this is a reality regarding no accident, no ignorance, no need to call the police. Chin is a psychopath. That's what I was speaking to. I was speaking to a psychopath that then started running out, acting like you had another emergency more important, and you never should have been in my face in the first place. They're psychopaths, and they are unstable to be in law enforcement. And this is that process that you're witnessing in real time, a formal process to get to that conclusion, which I already stated is going to be the case. You're going to prison when you're stalking wearing police uniforms. You're going to prison gang stalking with those in police uniforms, and they will be stripped of all the means whereby terrorists are supported. Terrorists are under any circumstances supported and enabled. They are prospering in the country. Okay, that's what is being removed. They're prospering while they are targeting innocent American citizens, and they are in need of serious mental health assistance, and that's relevant. That's the only type of assistance that the government is interested in providing, and that's going to be built into the prosecution for any city anyway. But the entity that's engaged in this pattern of conduct, the only type of assistance that they can receive information about will be having their mental health concerns addressed. That's it. Okay, and that's the only thing that the government is interested in. But other than that, they will not be receiving any government interest, and that's going to affect those at all economic levels. Okay, including the demons that are at the peanut butter taking pictures of it with regard to gang stalking. This is what Chin is relying on: vagina monitors that are stalking inside of the grocery store at that obsessive level. And this is relevant. I just want to be clear: Eric Rodriguez is going to prison. So this is the entity that is under all circumstances serving to its own demise. Their obsession is what is going to have them put in prison. You're stalking under all circumstances while you're engaged in that pattern of conduct, and These are the same psychopaths calling then gang stalkers in police uniforms, and you can't even get your lie together. And your lie is under no circumstances supporting while you're in my face. And you have stalkers taking pictures of peanut butter while they want to monitor me in the grocery aisle. That's how pathetic they are. These are the people that are going to be removed from receiving any assistance while they're obsessively stalking me and listening to all the ways in which they will experience what is a tremendous group unified downfall. This is P.O.C. Alrighty, this is the pattern of conduct underway inside of Vaughn's, and it is currently 10:28 a.m. This is the entity that's engaging in what is surveillance inside of the grocery store, so a lot of bases covered. And what I want to basically state is that when I'm laughing, I always make it clear what I'm laughing at. It is entertaining to watch how pathetic the wicked are, especially in light of the things that come out of their face. It's entertaining when I see that, okay? That's justice. That tickles me because I knew that you were pathetic from the beginning. I already knew that. I knew it when you wake up every day and you put on a mask. Literally, you put on a mask because you're unattractive, but you also put on a mask with regard to what is symbolically, you're not yourself. You're not even who you are, and you don't even know yourself, including Chin, who was a gang stalking police officer. He's a demon. He's a psychopath. All right. And he's enraged with what it is that I'm doing, and he has no reason to be. And that's also why he has to present in one way. But even what he's presenting is insufficient under the law. He loses under all circumstances. That's the point. And he's losing because he's engaged in what is criminal conduct, unfair and bullying toward the average American citizen. And this is under no circumstances going to be the result of what is me teaming up with any federal government that had anything to do with what is still ongoing, which is monitoring my vagina. All right. You were monitoring my vagina. No, we're not going to be working together. I'm not going to have a conversation with you. I'm not going to sit down at some ceremony where everybody's giving me flowers like I want a whole bunch of people that were sitting around watching this to congratulate me. I'm not interested in that, and it's not going to happen. But this is an entity that has never been approached with or witnessed anything like me, and I understand that. But I am literally the person that has to make it abundantly clear when I say X, Y, and Z, that's exactly what I mean. If I say it's not going to happen, that's exactly what I mean. That's exactly what's going to happen. The entity that's keeping my money, sitting on it, thinking, oh, she'll change her mind if we just let her sleep outside, that's exactly why I will never be working with you. That's exactly why we will never be in the same room. That's exactly why there will be no celebration, including you. Anything that I'm celebrating, you will not be invited. You won't be there. Okay, it's literally going to be a part of security detail to make sure that you're locked up, you come anywhere near me. And you know who you are. You were already gang stalking me. I've already mentioned your name. There will be no future endeavors with us. This is the entity that's engaged in that level of conduct, and this is relevant to the prosecution and all policies surrounding prosecuting demons that are stalking in ways in which that the roaches are in Upland, California, in grocery aisles. This is how pathetic the dead are, and this is what you need to watch out for, because they engage in what is stalking you with those that are murderers and kidnappers, and that's what Chin represents. And they are absurdly mentally ill of all races and ages and engaging in that while they don't have a point of existence. So they're not concerned about teaching. They're not concerned about buying this because they're going there and they're going to enjoy this. They're gang stalking me at the club. They're gang stalking me in the library. They're gang stalking me in the on the freeway. They're gang stalking me at the gas station. What they're doing is devoting their attention to me, and they literally keep a fake sun over me showing you that. That is what is stalking. They're a bunch of roaches, and it's an infestation of terrorists that are in the United States, and they're being surrounded, they are being choked, okay, with what are policies, laws, and ways in which you will proceed with surrounding domestic terrorists that are in this country with the means whereby you are neutralizing the threat that they pose and removing all the ways in which they are receiving any sort of entitlements, benefits off of the U.S. to whom they are an enemy, targeting American citizens, hateful of this country, and yet refusing to leave. Just like you hate me, but yet you refuse to stop stalking me. That's the sentiment regarding this country. They hate this country. And they hate those that are in this country. That's why they're engaging in terrorism. And they're engaging in disgusting and despicable and pathetic things such as stalking and targeting American citizens as a business practice, as a way of life, and then have the audacity to try to point the finger at the people that they're stalking, while they want to try to make a bottom line profit from that. This is the sickness that is occurring in the United States. And this is domestic terrorism. It is currently going by the name of Vaughn's. This is Albertson's Companies. All right, the headquarters. This is the P.O.C. All right, and so that's discussion regarding the entity. And anytime I'm laughing at how pathetic the enemy is. And I'm always speaking to the fact that there's nothing entertaining about it. All right, so all those that are sitting around watching, witnesses, you're sitting around witnessing and I'll use you to make a point, but that doesn't mean that it's under any circumstances. It's nothing that I would ever even be aware of because I'm not a psychopath that is deriving pleasure from watching other people go through this situation. It is something that I would pray for them about, and I would not under any circumstances participate, which is what you're doing even while you're watching it, witnessing it online, and you're not reporting it to the feds. You're not telling other people to stop entertaining it while you're giving energy to it, while you're sitting up watching another person suffering. You wonder why your life is going in the direction it is and what's wrong with you, and why you're so hostile for no reason, because you're a demon. That's why. You're a demon. And that's a reality. It's a spirit. That's why I don't have to see your face to know you and call that. That's a spirit. This is P.O.C. and the demon-possessed are delusional regarding having a future in my life. You have already been exposed. That's why you're witnessing me prosecute a demon-possessed entity. You are part of that entity. There will be no future. Your time of trying to kill me is up, and we're not going to go back and play nice now after the fact. The fact that Chin is approaching me of the Upland Police Department in Upland, California is your confirmation that there will never be any future with me and anybody in any level of government, including the federal government, that I'm not going to take a job with. So there's no secrets here, so that's why I'm speaking out on every aspect. The entity could have long ago given me my money, could have long ago stopped the entity that's gang stalking. Chin is able to approach me in the grocery store because the entity is still playing games. The entity is still monitoring. The entity is engaging in this is not witchcraft. They're demons that are engaging in what is witnessing their own downfall, experimenting on someone that has a right to not be subject to that, and you're going to prison for it. And they're delusional even about that. They're delusional about that. But there will be no change, and I'm not changing my mind. I'm certainly not going to forget. And every harm that I suffered is your ongoing confirmation. There is no going back. You never should have been having sex with my mom in the first place. You never should have been plotting to kill me or anybody for that matter. And no one that's even in living that type of lifestyle, I don't care if you repent or not, you will never be a part of my team. I will never team up with you, and that's just not going to happen. And that's not my calling, and I'm not obligated to. I don't have to deal with you. You want to deal with me. I don't have to deal with you. You're not indispensable. I've been doing it without you. I've been doing it in spite of you. And you are an enemy, and that's why you're sitting up watching instead of stopping it in the first place. But you stay right where you are, because you will never be a part of my camp, and you know who you are. You're on the outside. You will never be accepted. This is P.O.C. It's currently 10:35 a.m. It is currently 11:06 a.m. This is evidence of Vaughn's that's engaged in what is retaliation. I'm going to prosecute Vaughn civilly and criminally. See the fake sun reflecting off of their windshield. They're stalking. License plate KLEENEX as in Kleenex. License 9HOU396. License 730 Nancy Larry. License 7ZEN051. They're pacing. They're mentally ill, and this is psychopathic pacing that is relevant to psychological torture, sexual violence, because Vaughn's is also monitoring my vagina, stalking me in the bathroom through the employee Jeanette, who is sharing in what is criminal summoning with the Upland Police. This is a very egregious and serious criminal act of terrorism that Vaughn's engaged in today, with officers Chen, Baltic, and the third that went into the depths of the grocery store, sought me out, and all of that which was exchanged was audible activity under the fake sun that you see over me. And the fake sun is still here. In order to be clear, Eric Rodriguez, who is going to federal prison, should I experience any harms relevant to products that I purchased today, he's also going to federal prison for even longer. But this is nonetheless relevant to what is a fake sun over me at 11:06 a.m., which is speaking to the specific environment where Chen already knew who I am. Chen already knew what it was that I did in the parking lot, which was also not a violation of the law. Chen also knew that he sought to engage in what is a method of intimidating me. And this is Vaughn's that's specifically engaging in what is threatening and intimidating me with the Upland Police Department, who have no basis whatsoever to engage in obstruction of justice, because that's what you're doing when you are being reported for gang stalking. 9 CAG 804, and this is a federal RICO case, and upon a federal RICO case and an ongoing investigation, Vaughn's is acting in furtherance of trying to murder me and stalking me and doing so. And Vaughn's is also making a bottom line while doing so. I'm going to prosecute Vaughn's that has the evidence of a fake sun and gang stalking by the Cable Airport in Upland, California, right here at this same address, 81 West Foothill Boulevard. Kleenex is stalking. He's a demon. All right, and he's engaged in pacing. All right, they're doing so while under the fake sun. They engage in what is monitoring my vagina, and everything that Chin said is relevant to his being diagnosed as a psychopath. That is what is wrong with them. They are demons that are engaged in criminal activity, and their criminal activity is going to lead to what are being confined in mental institutions and in prison. All right, Vons is a corrupt company and engaged in what is threatening me with the police while the entity is stalking. That's what FedEx is doing. This is what the entity is doing while they're engaged in what is monitoring the evidence. This is what FedEx is doing pursuant to my vagina, by the way, while I'm in the bathroom on the opposite side of that same wall. They utilize the same tactic. This is putting Chin in prison. While FedEx is engaged in the P.O.C, they put each other in a federal prison. That's what they're serving for. 72729X1, monitoring with FedEx license plate 79116 Charlie 3, doing so under the fake sun that is on video here at the same entrance where FedEx is showing you that it is a terrorist and it is keeping you under surveillance. FedEx is an enemy of yours and is another corrupt company that is gang stalking you in the United States and furtherance of murdering you, not keeping you alive to consume their products, but murdering you and kidnapping you and trying to defame your character, and that is accomplished by FedEx gang stalking you. Okay, this is P.O.C. FedEx is another company that you shouldn't also support because they're making money off of monitoring your genitalia and your children's genitalia. And Chin and Baltic and the gang members relevant to Marcelo Blanco went inside of this venue that has a fake sun under me speaking to what is psychologically harmful means of targeting me. This is warfare that Vons is engaging in as the people of the state, doing so because they're keeping me under surveillance and they're really mad because I'm documenting it. License 8VJY865 has no basis to call the police, which is serving what is an illusion and a corrupt system because the police are stalking me by that third party. There's no such thing as reporting your criminal activity to the police. You're here and you are vicariously present with those police officers. And while you admit to engage in that, you're going to prison. Jose Villalobos, Eric Rodriguez, Jeanette, who's gang stalking in the bathroom, that's just one of many. Everybody in this grocery store is going to prison. When I'm documenting that, that's the entity that is under the same exact circumstances. You see it on the news and they end up dead and you know nothing about surveillance. And that's the threat that FedEx and Vons serve to you. Okay, this is P.O.C. Chase is monitoring. My documentation has the fake sun over me while I'm on Route 66, coming in and out of the city of Upland into Montclair and into Rancho Cucamonga and Fontana, respectively. This is the entity that's engaging that. You see the fake sun reflecting off of the windshield is right here over my head. They're all stalking. Okay, Chin is exposing what is his psychopathic disorder while he asks me questions he knows the answer to, and none of the answers to those questions that I do not have to answer, which does not mean that he is free under the law to engage in that act of intimidation with a gun on his hip, stalking. It is relevant to what is under no circumstances going to be the accumulation of any information that makes anything suspicious at all. All right, he's blatantly stalking me, and doing so in the United States is mandating federal prison. This is P.O.C. All right, Chin did not ask me any questions about anything that he had a right to, nor was he ignorant about who I am and what I was doing on my phone, nor did the people of the state have to call him and tell him anything. He is a stalker, and he's relying on them that are stalking MLO58 to give an explanation regarding why he's in my face, and it is no explanation under the law either, okay? But this is P.O.C., that's aerial surveillance, and that's Cable Airport, regarding what is, actually, that's a commercial plane, actually. That is not Cable Airport. They don't maintain any commercial flights, no commercial planes, and they are doing so while they are stalking. This is in relevant position to Vons. This is the entity that is stalking in the path, and so are the people that stay on the roads and the highways. I just want to be clear, all of this is documentation regarding Chin going to prison. Chin is just the latest demon that I'm documenting wearing a police uniform. You're talking about Hernandez, gang stalking of the Ontario Police, the demon last night in the vehicle with the mustache stalking me in the dark under the fake moon. The demon that is Jay Montez, gang stalking at B Street in Euclid, where there's no sun that was present during approximately 9:44 a.m. It was over me. Here in Upland, California, it's over me in Fontana. It's remaining over me in Pomona. Jay Montez is going to prison. These are the stalkers of the Ontario Police, where they are stalking with the people of the state in Upland, using the Bank of America transaction and stalking, license 9JUD015, while the entity is stalking with commercial planes that have no business in the sky space over here. There's no landing where you're conducting and landing by hovering in Upland, California over the Big Five, CVS, this Uptown and Country Shopping Plaza. You're not landing at the Ontario International Airport. You haven't taken off from that airport to be in this sky space, nor are you taking off being at this elevation at this location, the ecological address from any airport. Coming from San Bernardino, you're not hovering here. Landing at what is the next LAX, you're not landing here. This is stalking. And you know that because of the specific environment as well. This is the P.O.C. This is showing the cities that are engaging in surveillance, the cities that are doing so through corrupt stalkers like Baltic and Chin, and their third party, excuse me, not a third party, that's a state actor, Upland Police are engaging in surveilling me, and you listen to that encounter. That's a threat posed by Marcelo Blanco that's maintaining a terrorist organization that's going to be disbanded. They engaged in kidnapping me in 2022 while they're engaging in what is surveillance. That's Cable Airport. All right, this is P.O.C., the entity maintaining commercial planes and smaller planes. This is Cable Airport gang stalking. I'm going to prosecute them. I'm going to prosecute them. I've got years of Cable Airport gang stalking me. They know exactly who I am. And the people that say go to Cable Airport to stalk me, they use their planes coming from that airport to engage in aerial surveillance. And that airport is a means, and any and every airport in any city that's engaged in the pattern of conduct is automatically identified. I'm showing you how they're engaging in that pattern of conduct, how it's executed and what it looks like. And then you go back and review the things that come out of the mouth of what is an undiagnosed closeted psychopath such as Chin and Baltic and Jose Villalobos, the employee of Vaughn's, Eric Rodriguez, who's gang stalking me. And he's never been confronted with the one that is going to prosecute him for it. This is P.O.C. It is currently 11:16 a.m. where the entity is keeping the fake sun right over my head, covering it up. It's right here, and this is no circumstances. It's not deviating from the P.O.C. whatsoever. They're engaging in the same conduct of stalking with light. All right, and this is what they're doing at night when also the fake sun is not shown, and they are surrounding with engineered light in an engineered environment. This is P.O.C. Omnitrans, you already know, is a gang stalker. They're using this bus as a means of light activity, stalking in the path, and it says out of service. The bus is out of service, and they're using it as a means of presence in the environment. This is P.O.C. It is, I'm going to get the license plate. Omnitrans is gang stalker. She's pacing on the bus. She's pacing, getting off the bus and back on. It's light activity. It's facilitation. Omnitrans license 1370396, bus 1325 at Uptown and Country at 11:17 a.m. This is surveillance. These are demons that are pacing. This is massive surveillance right here. Okay, and the surveillance pursuant to what is everywhere that I'm going in the sky space. Omnitrans is engaged in gang stalking me in Fontana, California, Pomona, California, Upland, California, Ontario, California, Rancho Cucamonga, California, and I'm going to prosecute them and all of the employees that I documented. They're engaging in violating the laws in the ways in which I've spoken to, and they're going to federal prison. They're gang stalking me with demons like Chin and Baltic. They're going to prison. This is P.O.C. Good morning. Hi, would you guys happen to have any study rooms available? You do? Yeah. Oh, I was surprised. I was like, you were going to tell me now. Do you have any laptops available? Really? How are they working these days?
Pretty good.
Yeah? They're charging?
They're charging.
Okay. I do. Sorry, I have to tell you that. But anyway, can I, I'll check out a laptop and get a study room if that's available, please. How have you been? I'm excellent, ma'am. Thank you. How's school going?
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it's on.
Right? I'll tell you what, I'm glad that I'm done with school because I don't want to, I'm glad I did it and that it's over with. You know, it's the type of thing I don't miss it. I don't want to go back. I don't want to learn nothing else.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's over with.
very much not done. I'll be in school for a long time.
Yeah? You said you want to go beyond the valley, right?
Well, I'm doing my BA right now.
Oh, yeah.
But I want to get my master's. That's a cool.
Oh, okay. You got the perfect job, though. Sitting there being quiet, you can study a little bit on the low, you know, all day long. Not all day, but you can, sneaking in a little bit for maybe an hour here, 30 minutes there. Thank you. Do you guys have any disinfectant wipes?
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, moist. They're not. How about paper towels and I can get some sanitizer? Yeah, there you go. Can I get a little bit more paper towels, please? Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. All right. Okay.
11:35, and just like I started with Vaughn's, the pattern of conduct is underway outside. The entity is ceaselessly gang stalking me. I remain under surveillance 24 hours a day. The question is not if Upland Public Library is engaged in criminal monitoring. That is gang stalking me. The question is how, okay? And Vaughn showed you how literally Upland Police walked in the grocery store gang stalking. It doesn't get any more clear than that with regard to prosecuting. Everyone already lost. They're entirely unsuccessful in a federal case in court. So they're engaging in surveillance in every other way also, which is unlawful in the bathroom. Everywhere that they're at in the store, it's a means of what is surrounding. They're psychotic while they engage in that, and they are doing it in engineered light. That is the fake sun, okay? Whether they cover it up or not. Covering it up is relevant to the entity that also tries to cover up its mental illness, and they can't cover that up either. It's 11:36 a.m. at Upland Public Library.
Yeah, the range. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, I can move. Yeah. I just.
All those things, is that like an event? We do a review of a story every morning for the posters. So it's usually just live in the morning and then later on it's quieter.
Oh, you opened up that one for me, huh? Did you open up that one for me?
No,
Or
that's
is this-
fine.
Oh, okay. Oh, someone's using that. Oh, someone must be using. Okay.
Sorry about that.
No, you're good, you're good.
Oh, I get it. Somebody was already using it, so you're clearing them out.
Yeah, the doors are.
Okay, I'll wait. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Are you done? Yeah?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. No, it's okay. It's fine. Alrighty. I'm just documenting the fact that I'm in Upland and at the, well, you know that I'm in Upland, I've been documented, but that I am at the Upland Public Library. And this is the evidence of the pattern of conduct that's underway inside of the library, which is the city of Upland. Okay, so Bill Valto is keeping me under surveillance, in other words. As an aside, I want to point something else out to you. As you are analytically and as medical professionals are assessing mental illness, Chen and everything that he stated, these are criminals that are psychopathic. They are engaged in a system whereby they're engaging in the ability to murder people. They're not engaged in what is overuse of force. That's how it's described with regard to even when an entity is engaging in surveillance unbeknownst to American citizens who are lied to by the system that says it's an unlawful overuse of force. These are all terms, even when they are under those circumstances, they are still being viewed as an officer engaging in what are the duties, executing their duties. They're not under any circumstances. This is murder. Okay, so the entity that's taken the life of American citizens while surveillance is underway is engaging in premeditated murder. How? Both where they are targeting that person and a loss of life is resulting, which is what they plan to do in the first place. And also, under any circumstance, under any and all circumstances, loss of life is it's reasonably foreseeable to result when the police are stalking, as they are, doing so in helicopters like Marcelo Blanco was doing at the Upland Public Library, as I documented. Now, while the department is already stalking, this is what I want you to hone in on. You're already stalking me. You're using helicopters targeting me as a department. Why is Chin representing the reason for his presence in the way that he is? And it's not because it's the fact or because it's the truth. This is the entity that believes that they can control the circumstances and the narrative and what it is that's believable because they all agree that, oh yeah, I called and that's why they're there. And it's true what it is that I'm stating and this is the fact because of my uniform and that's, no. It is already established you're gang stalking as a department, so everything that's coming out of his mouth as to the reason why he is there and what he is discussing with me, which he has no right to under any circumstances, by the way, under the law. They're being prosecuted based on reality, not based on the illusion where they're engaging in the system. In reality, will have you ending up in a mental institution. Because you're going to assess what they said versus what they're actually doing. Therein you see how psychotic they are, how malicious they are, how deceptive they are, how maniacal they are. You're stalking me by helicopters at the library under the fake sun, which is on video. And yet you are representing yourself as though you don't know who I am and you're not sure, but you're taking as fact some allegation regarding what's not even an unlawful act, which will give you no basis of suspicious conduct whatsoever to get to a legal means of what is reasonable suspicion to detain, to further investigate. You're not anywhere in that territory. You're blatantly stalking. And you're doing so maliciously while there's already a documented pattern, not just in 2026, and specifically of March of 2026, stalking me by helicopter, but in 2022 and in 2021 and in 2020 and in 2019 and in 2018. Massive surveillance in Upland, California, knowing exactly who I am. And then you go back with that knowledge and you listen to what Chin said. You listen to the Upland police that are stating in concert with the people, the basis for being in the presence of an American citizen that is being targeted. This is how they commit murder in plain sight. You're going to prison for this. This is domestic terrorism. That's another means of understanding and looking at the bare bones criminal and bare bones stalker. You are stalking me by helicopter at this venue, and then you're engaging in what is stalking me at the grocery store because I'm enforcing my rights. That's really what's going on. While you claim that you're there pursuant to other reasons and circumstances, which also do not make legitimate your presence in my face, nonetheless, you're looking at the illusion that they're maintaining. Very, very psychopathic, very, very threatening and malicious. You're a stalker and a liar with a gun on your hip, prepared to take my life if I give you any sort of reason to create a narrative as to why, because that's what they do. They get to shoot you if you do something that enables them to create a narrative, okay? They get to do that because that's what they're stalking for, and that's how the law is going to treat that. They are not officers engaging in the execution of duties whatsoever, and they're not going to be prosecuted and treated nor viewed under the law as that. The irrebuttable presumption of public corruption already exists. It's been long established. Chin's going to prison. I just want to point that out. This is P.O.C. It's currently 11:43 a.m. Okay, it is currently 12:20 p.m. This is a follow-up regarding the video that you just listened to via podcast and the video that you can see that you are viewing if you are looking at it via the video evidence. Moments following this video speak into what is an entity that's engaging in surveillance via devices on the internet as well, which the internet is nothing other than a facilitating venue, okay? Meaning the venues of social media platforms, websites, wherever it is that you're going online, you are under surveillance while you are on whatever website, wherever you're at, and the sites where you are visiting are sharing and surveilling you. They are facilitating. They are engaging and participating in surveillance that they are not ignorant that the government is maintaining. So that is literally the term of a facilitating venue, such as being on YouTube. YouTube is engaging in surveillance on the venue of the internet while they maintain that platform, okay? So, and this is relevant to the conduct, the course of conduct that's underway online. And so moments after I just captured the video that you listened to right now, moments later, just like I stated, there were no errors with regard to logging into my account. And I took a screenshot of what my email account that's linked to my Google account. As I log in, it tells me you have secured your account, access to your account, which is what I originally did this morning. And I'll go ahead and recite it, but I took screenshots of it and it's uploaded to the Google Drive. This is education for you though. The entity that is, for example, I've documented this before. When I'm creating a Google account, you do not have to provide a phone number to create a Google account. Creating a phone number or providing a phone number is actually an option with regard to what is a security measure, whereby if you get locked out, you can enter in your phone number, and that's another way for Google to confirm that it's you, confirm your identity. However, you do not have to provide a phone number when you are creating a Google account. That is an illusion regarding the entity that will create an obstacle to stop you from doing something that you're doing. And what I'm doing is typically creating a Google account. In order to block me from that, the entity will create what is, and this is relevant to the devices that are under surveillance and the way in which we're under surveillance on the internet. And this is naturally going to implicate these websites such as Google, where I'm given what the target individual does not know may or may not be the actual Google website, the government that's engaging in surveillance. But let's be clear, Google is a third party, not a private party. It's a third party. So if you want to say it's some computer genius at the police department in the city that's keeping you under surveillance, and this is how the Google logo and everything that's appearing on your phone, as though it is Google, it's official, and you've been blocked as you're operating your device, as you're accessing what is the Google app, using Google's resources, and unable to do so because as far as you know, and all that you're responsible to know is what you are reasonably relying on, which is generating on your phone. Okay, the entity is monitoring and has no right under the Constitution. So Google, that is also a third party, is inevitably linked to the ongoing criminal monitoring, which is in this case obstructing justice and posing an unlawful threat to the life of an American citizen during the course of a federal investigation. So the entity is engaging in creating a superficial barrier. Oh, you have to provide a phone number in order to create this Google account, and if you don't provide a phone number, then you can't move forward. That's not the requirement to create a Google account at all. You don't have to provide, there's no requirement for that whatsoever. And that's the evidence of your phone being monitored. That's the entity that is engaging in what is violating your privacy rights in doing so. And that's also a superficial barrier, meaning it's not even real. And they're able to block you from creating that. And that's if you don't know any better, because there are ways to maneuver, clear out your cookies, clear out everything, wipe out everything, delete all the accounts off of your phone. That's one of the ways that you can do it. Clear out your mobile network settings in your phone, just reset everything. And because everything that you're doing, it's accumulating, and the entity that's monitoring you is sharing in that accumulated traffic, everything that you're doing and everything that you're going in, and all of the history that's created. And then this is how they're able to, once you access it the first time, there is a record of it, and then after that first time, then they can block you from it. But the first time, like if you use a new device, you have to use that device the first time you're successful. After you use it the first time, then they're able to stop you, block you, and whatever it is that they may be doing. This is based on my troubleshooting the entity that's engaging in what is monitoring. This is just what with regard to surveillance on devices. Okay, so it's something that it is able to do once they have monitored your use of it. When you are initially engaging in it, there's no history of you or using that device or engaging in it. They're not able to, it's been my experience, able to stop what doesn't exist. Okay, so once there's cookies of you accessing the website, using this device, then they are able to block your ability to access that particular website again, block your ability to do whatever it is that you're generating a file or uploading some document, whatever it is you're doing. But you have it's like one free try once you do it the first time. After there's a history created, meaning you've done it once, thereby they're able to then block you from doing it again. And this is the entity that's basically stalking you online. Okay, so that's an example, and I've documented that over and over and over again. This is the entity that's monitoring, and this is while they're doing it during an ongoing federal court case. So you're going to prison for these things. So, but the entities engage in that, and they're educating you about surveillance. And Google does not create. That's letting you know it's not even true. It's not genuine. That's an illusion regarding surveillance that we are subject to. Surveillance that's on your device, and for a superficial barrier like that to be created, it is informative regarding knowledge about who you are and what you're doing. Okay, even if it's merely just to harass you. Okay, in my circumstance, it is to harass, but it's also to threaten. It's also because Marcelo, Blanco, Mike Lorenz, Paul Leon, Michael Dorsey, Darren Goodman, all of these names that I am referring to with regard to the pattern of conduct as I go to San Bernardino today, and the fake sun is over me. Oh, they're gang stalking, right? They're absolutely gang stalking. They don't stop the criminal activity, but then they want to gang stalk me and follow me as I then publish the evidence of what you committed, rather than stopping the pattern of conduct. They don't want to stop that. And then they're engaging in foolish endeavors to try to block me from uploading it onto the internet. And that's exactly what's happening when the fake sun's remaining over me from Ontario. to San Bernardino, back to Fontana. Whereas the entity is keeping the fake sun over Fontana the entirety of that time. So where is San Bernardino, and at what point is the sun ever in San Bernardino, let alone over me, when I never go anywhere near San Bernardino? This is the entity that's sharing a behavioral pattern in that environment that is impossible, also irreconcilable with the natural environment and science. This is the entity that is very much engaged in what is obsessively stalking, but then also doesn't want you to maintain the evidence and publish it, share it, prosecute them. Psychotic, delusional. Okay? And not only that, this is the entity that's delusional because it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And moreover, this is the foolishness regarding what is no magician at all. When you're engaging in stalking, you are doing so in a manner in which I know that you're stalking. And so this is the entity that's engaging what is automatically serving to prosecute itself, and they're not secretly gang stalking inside of the library. Everybody is here, and everybody's being prosecuted, and everybody is within that entity. Also, everybody's in the engineered environment. All right, you're an engineered light. You're not just using the computer. You're under the fake sun. You're not just in here at work. Okay, the entity is gang stalking by planes and helicopters. You are not separate and distinct, and nor ignorant even about that. And under the law, you're not going to be treated like that. And if you look to the left and the right, it's not relevant. You will be prosecuted. Everyone knows what you're doing. So this is the entity that's engaging in that level of malicious conduct, and it's psychopathic, and it's a threat to the people of the state, or not to the people of the state, but as the people of the state are engaging in this pattern on behalf of the government. All right, that comes into the library, maintaining surveillance for the state. It's a threat to American citizens who don't have evidence, who don't know what's going on when they try to document, for example, just giving an example, and then you can't use your devices. You don't understand perhaps you have one part of the pattern of conduct, but you don't know that you're under surveillance as they are, in the ways in which the tactics that they employ when they're targeting online. Okay, and this is something that is also a threat. When something is threatening your life like this, and then something is impeding upon your ability to successfully prove it, to gain any traction regarding trying to protect yourself, or trying to prove to other people that you're not imagining it, that you're not crazy, that you're not making it up. All the ways in which I can empathize with an American citizen that is subject to this, and they're suffering in silence. The entity is stalking them, causing them to be forced to live in a bubble, and they're engaging in this kind of like stalking them in a library, and thinking also then that you're going to take my evidence, stop my ability to access my own account. The audacity. That's exactly what needs to be locked up in prison. Okay, the mindset behind that, the predatory behavior inherent to that, the maniacal psychopath that is determined, is what is illustrated in that. That's what's out here killing American citizens. Stalking in libraries, silently, staring at books and at computers and holding the hands of children engaged in criminal activity. That is exactly what I'm giving voice to, and that's also why the penalties are so severe. Because the pattern of conduct is not limited to or changing based on the type of venue where you're at. If I go to a school full of kindergartners, the entity is gang stalking me. All right, when I'm aboard public transportation, the entity is gang stalking me. When I go into the grocery store, the entity is gang stalking me. When I'm at my fake friend's house, the entity is gang stalking me. When I'm in the bathroom at the public library, the entity is gang stalking. And the co-conspirator of murder has the audacity to sit right next to you. And then be so sick and twisted to sit there and act like they're not. That's the purpose of gang stalking by a population. The entity that has conjured up this sort of sick system, they're calling themselves chiefs of police. They're calling themselves mayors, city attorneys. All right, those are the ones that are being removed from position, and the people that say are indeed terrorists, and they will be prosecuted as well. And there are many ways to touch the entire population. All right, it is currently 12:31 p.m. This is speaking to an unlawful threat posed to my life while I am documenting and in full execution of my constitutional right to do so. And this is an entity that is desperate to try to compete with that, which you cannot under the law. This is showing the lawlessness of these, and you've already lost when it's on video. It's on being documented. This is an entity that is then you've already lost when it's been documented.
You're supposed to be doing this in the dark, in the secret, and no one's supposed to know about it. Okay, well, you've already lost that bet. And so what are you doing now? So now you're just going to continue stalking. You're going to continue to try to then block what they have on record regarding your criminal activity. Like, where is the line? Okay, because it should have been like not gang stalking in the first place. That's the standard. And so this is just showing the level of desperation and how far an entity will go. But it is education for you, because you need to understand that surveillance is real and all of the tactics of that entity that is engaging in surveillance. The mentally ill population, okay, that wants to stalk you and then silence you about the fact that they are stalking you. And they are not stalking for funsies. They are stalking for a criminal purpose, and it is to take your life, to kidnap you. And as they, being the people of the state, are stalking you, they are doing so as the state that is stalking you. Okay, that's the unlawful threat. It is currently, I am successfully in my account, and I did upload screenshots of my email account. And if I actually had failures, too many attempts into my account, that's exactly what would be reflected in my emails. And I'm trying to think, because even if that was sent also, I'll go into my Google account as well and take screenshots, because you could contend, oh, well, you could have just deleted it, even though I don't lie, but I try to entertain any sort of counter argument. I will go into my Google account and take images of that as well, because the Google account will show history. There's been no failures in my account at all. So I logged in this morning, and the computer just logged me out right now, and I logged back in. And this is like the instance of stating that you have to provide a phone number to create a Google account. No, you don't. And this entity tried to block me from accessing my Google account. And what's the significance of that? Because as I'm logging in my Google account, I'm uploading my videos onto YouTube and onto the Google Drive for you all to see how the U.S. government is gang stalking me as I went to San Bernardino today. And then I came to Fontana from San Bernardino, and so did the fake son. Okay, it's exposing those that are engaged in the pattern of conduct, and that is just as clear as Darren Goodman being in a vehicle. You clearly see in his face his black skin, his thick black mustache, and the gun that he has on his dash, threatening me, following me around, just like the fake son, street for street, turn for turn. It's as good as me capturing video of him being in a car following me around. That's how potent and probative that evidence is. As I go to San Bernardino, and the entities gang stalking by commercial plane, gang stalking by helicopter, gang stalking with the people of the state under the fake sun. All right, this is P.O.C. It is currently 12:34 p.m.
All right, it's currently 12:47 p.m. And the people of the state, that would include the people of the state that come in. That are engaging in the pattern of conduct. The entity maintains restrooms where the children's area is on the first floor. And this is no guise for what is ongoing harassment, targeting me, as also engaging what is also legally under the fact would be retaliation, because the demon-possessed gang stalkers that are mothers of little kids are a bunch of vagina monitoring sex offenders, and they give birth to demons in California that are monitoring us, and they're monitoring us with their demon-possessed children, and they come to the libraries where I am using the devices and publishing and sharing and showing every iteration of terrorism and ways in which a population needs to be advised with regard to the veil, the illusion, versus the reality of what they are doing. They who are demons, who are engaging in what is a matter of public corruption with the government. The entity is engaged in what is filling this study room, which is on the first floor, with ongoing booming noises, as though you can hear like something reminiscent of the sound of piping, like impact, while I'm on the first floor, which is impossible audible activity. It's also impossible that the sun would sit over the roof of the Upland Public Library. So this is getting to the entity that's engaging in terrorism while stalking.
And this is while the demons are pacing. These are the demons that are engaging in what is gang stalking and using their minor children. It's very creepy. They come with their kids. I documented one of them stalking in the path as I'm walking to the library, and she is clutching a minor child. She's talking to them playfully. They're talking back and forth while they're crossing path, gang stalking together, mother and son. This is the same entity that is demon possessed. They go into the bathroom and all manner of terrorism they're attacking me with while they are stalking in the path, in engineer light, fake sun over the library, and in a study room on the first floor where it's impossible that I would be affected by a child using the bathroom on the first floor. The entity is filling the study room with loud sounds reminiscent of trying to emit the sound of the bathroom, the piping, the water, the impact of flushing a toilet. That's what's heard on the first floor. It's reminiscent of that sound. The entities engaging in this while they are gang stalking, it's as impossible as light flying across the sidewalk, the wall, the ceilings, on another vehicle while you're driving underneath the sun. That's not sunlight. It's not the product of driving, period. And their headlights do not create multiple shadows, magnified shadows, different hues and concentration regarding shadows. The entity that's engaging in what is stalking with engineered light. These are demons, and they're in a library being demons, stalking with demons that are little babies. Okay, and this is speaking to the threat that are the demon-possessed people of the state. Up in Public Libraries engaged in what is a pattern of targeting while they are hostile to what it is that they're keeping under surveillance. So first of all, you're a stalker, and then as a stalker, that's like if you were stalking me and you found out that I thought that you were the ugliest person in the world because I made a joke about you when I was looking at another aesthetically displeasing person on the television. Well, if you weren't keeping me under surveillance, you wouldn't know my sentiments about your physical appearance. And whose problem is that? Who is the weirdo, who's the stalker, and who's the one that found out, moreover, you're not just a stalker, but you're an ugly one in the targeted individual's opinion? All right, who's the bad person there? Who's the weirdo? Who's the pervert? Okay, because you're not just stalking and keeping under surveillance what it is that I'm discussing on television. You're also engaging in surveillance when I am taking my panties down in the privacy of my home, and you're sitting around being a sex offender, a hideous one, and keeping my genitalia and all of my private activity inside of my home under surveillance. This is what the people of the state are. And they think that having babies that are also demons makes them look less demonic, and it doesn't. It's informing you, the public, that the demons are under the age of majority. The demons are giving birth to more demons. The demons are engaging in what is surveillance under the guise of what you and I would normally be doing, minding our business. The demon-possessed are doing the same thing, minding all of our business. They're doing so under the fake sun in the engineer light amongst amplified audible activity while they're engaged in obsessive conduct, and the system that's supposed to bully you where you find out about it, where you seek to enforce your rights. And this is a reality call because the demons are getting locked up. They're going to mental institutions throughout this country. They're going to prison. They're getting deported back to wherever they came from so that they can gang stalk each other at that place of origin, whatever country that's in. They can go do that amongst them out there. This is what's happening. This is the P.O.C. It's 12:52 p.m. Upland Public Library. That's the city of Upland. That's letting you know Bill Velto is keeping me under surveillance inside of the library while ongoing terrorism, that is amplified audible activity, is sounding in what's supposed to be a study room. No, they did not design a study room so that you would be harassed with the sound of everything at all times. This is the entity that's, again, highly unintelligent while they're just blatantly engaging in what is, even while the entity engages in flagrant activity creation like amplified noise. It's relevant to the obsession. It's commensurate to the obsession. All right? A fake sun that sits over the building that I'm inside of for 9 hours, it's because they're obsessed. It's commensurate to the obsession. The government that is obsessed is going to be dearly taxed for it. All right? And it's going to be stripped of any and all devices where it cannot control that obsession, funding terrorism, or it recruits a population to share in that obsession. That's what the U.S. government is doing. It's 12:53 p.m. This is documentation of harassment while I'm inside of study room number 3, where the people of the state are engaging in surveillance by stalking in study room number 2 and stalking in the library, where the entity is keeping that fake sun over the roof of the library, as the evidence already shows us, P.O.C. All right, it is currently 4:39 p.m. At approximately 4:37 p.m. Joy, this is appears to be a Caucasian female of an older age, late 50s, 60s,
far too old to be engaging in criminal activity that would result in federal prison. She wouldn't do well. She would not fare well at this point in life. However, she is gang stalking me with the city of Upland inside of the library, engaging in very creepy, terrorizing conduct, walking out of the one of the side rooms over where I am seated, doing so in the environment where I recently took a picture of the fake sun that you could see through the windows that are on the ceiling of this venue. This is at 4 in the evening. And as I am capturing this image, let me go ahead and recite the timestamp so you know exactly what Joy is doing. Okay, as you can look yourself and listen to this podcast, because I like to give both visible and audible. I like to appeal to all your senses while you listen to the truth regarding what Christ Jesus is revealing to you about Satan and what he is doing amongst his minions who are being publicly judged, and with regard to my involvement in that, federally prosecuted. Joy is gang stalking me inside of the Upland Public Library, and that is no matter of hearsay or some sort of rumor or any sort of theory that is unsubstantiated. She is in the venue. That's criminal on its face. She's in the venue where I'm taking a picture of the fake sun. You'll see it through the window that is on the roof, the ceiling of this Upland Public Library at 450 North Euclid Avenue. Remember, I'm in Upland today, not in Fontana, where they keep the fake sun until sunset, where they have the engineer lights swimming all across the desks, where they have it swimming all across the walls of that extensive venue, where it's present for the Fontana police. That's Michael Dorsey, who flies in circles over me while that fake sun is remaining after 4 p.m., after 5 p.m. in Fontana, California. None of that would coexist with where Joy is under a fake sun as a matter of evidence after 4:24 p.m., where I'm going to upload a Google Drive so you can look at this image, the screenshot, so you can remember what I already captured in order to prosecute terrorists, psychopaths amongst us, demons that you need to identify who are cloaking themselves as old white women tutoring young people who are engaged in the pattern of conduct with her. She is a threat to the public. She is a vagina monitor, and she's a psychopath walking out of the side room with simultaneity to the terrorizing sound of sirens, the sirens that are relevant to the entity that engages in kidnapping in Upland, California, pursuant to stalking in psychotic means such as in fire trucks and as in ambulances and in police vehicles under things like a fake sun that's sitting over the roof of this venue, where Joy is simultaneously walking out as sirens begin sounding, which is amplification, letting me know that Joy is a demon and she is stalking which is proven through the fake sun, stalking which is proven through the engineer light that's all over the walls, stalking which is proven by her simultaneity of conduct with the sound of sirens amplified inside of the library. It's also occurring with simultaneity to my logging off of Wi-Fi and shutting down what it is that I've been working on the internet, while this entity went engaged in a delusional campaign, as they always are, trying to stop me from publishing the evidence that's always going on the internet. That's why I have over 10,000 videos on my YouTube channel. This is the P.O.C. Nonetheless, this is the criminal activity regarding federal stalking. And so the demons are doing exactly what they're supposed to do, because they are going to prison, and they're going to prison for just reasons. Joy is engaging in that. And she is doing so under the guise of tutoring a young person that's engaged in vagina monitoring with her, literally while they are stalking in the path in one of the side rooms right here. And Joy is doing so at like I stated the time at the outset of this video. She's doing so while she is monitoring me, and she's monitoring me in furtherance of murdering me. And that's why she is joining in with the city of Upland that is gang stalking me through the audible activity of the use of sirens, which is also psychologically harmful, while Joy, a elderly white woman who I have never met in my life, is telling me that she's engaging in what is the services of one thing, while she is engaging in the criminal elements of monitoring to accomplish a totally different thing. And I am speaking to her and getting her information so that I can federally prosecute her and everyone else that is in the city of Upland that is gang stalking under that fake sun. You'll see the screenshot uploaded to the Google Drive, and it would be, the screenshot is taken at 4:30 p.m. and 49 seconds. So that would be screenshot underscore 2026-0427 underscore 163049 underscore gallery, because that's where I took the screenshot, in the gallery within my phone, the gallery where all the images are. So the that's the caption, the name of the image that I'm taking. And in that screenshot, it shows you the fake sun that I captured at this entrance of this library on March 24, 2026 at 9:52 a.m.
And today, while I'm inside under the roof of that same library at 4:24 p.m., and you're looking at the fake sun that's in the same position over the building where it would be seen through the windows that are on the roof of this building, where a psychopath like Joy is engaging in criminal activity under the guise of providing services to the illiterate youth, those that she is exploiting, by the way, while she's engaging in gang stalking criminal activity with them, which is also speaking to the fact that the demon possessed that are living and maintaining a whole illusion in this environment are not concerned about literacy. They're not concerned about maintaining legitimate businesses. They're not even concerned about maintaining what are good customer service and sales at a grocery store. That's why they're gang stalking me at Vaughn's under a fake sun, which, by the way, while Joy is stalking me inside of the Upland Public Library at 4:24 p.m., 4:37 p.m. specifically, with regard to her gang stalking me pursuant to criminal summoning, which is a basis for immediate imprisonment, automatic prison time. She is gang stalking also with regard to the big picture that the sun would not be over 81 West Foothill Boulevard in Upland, California, over my head at Vaughn's in the parking lot, and still in Upland, California, what would be east of the Vaughn's, not moving west, and remaining over the roof of the Upland Public Library at 4:24 p.m. And now let's count together, because I'm not a math magician. I am one that is trained in the law. So I have no problem humbling myself and counting out loud together, because even a fifth grade can follow this logic and understand what Joy is in the criminal pattern of conduct regarding what it is that's been exposed to you, and knowing that she's a monitoring spirit targeting me with the city of Upland, the state of California, in furtherance of murdering me after she's already lost in that wager, sacrificing herself. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. That was 6 hours ago, at least 6 hours ago, where the fake sun is over me at the Vaughn's parking lot. Okay. And that's also in video, which is published to the Google Drive. And this is all available for the world to witness. Joy is representing an entity who I can seamlessly and immediately prosecute with facts. And that is as I prosecute her, I prosecute the entire state of California. Understand that. This is P.O.C. The entities engaged in what is targeting me and harassing me inside of the Upland Public Library, including through the visible impossible light activity, through the audible activity of sirens, through the this is exactly what COLLIN SHEEHY was doing this morning at the Upland Public Library while I stood outside at the entrance, and the entity were engaging in a psychopathic behavior, pacing around in fire trucks, actually stalking another person, criminally monitoring, to be specific, while they're stalking with light and noise in the environment around me, gang stalking, and doing so under a fake sun, which is another iteration of the same criminal pattern of conduct that COLLIN SHEEHY is engaging in. And this is what Daniel Muncie, one who will not remain as a fire chief, is sharing in, while I show you the same pattern of conduct by the city of Fontana and the city of Upland, by the way. It's the same gang stalking entity, San Bernardino County Fire Department, and that's just one example, gang stalking me with Joy. All right, this is 4:49 p.m. This is P.O.C.
Hi. Did you move the computer?
Yeah, it was number right here. Was that you?
Well, it was there. It's funny how you sat there and you could have.
Yeah, but I didn't see nobody then.
Uh-huh.
And I read what I got on the computer. Something you can learn, right?
Excuse me?
It's not an individual computer, right?
What does that mean?
It's right there, right behind it. There's something written right there.
Yeah, what does that
So
mean?
I just figured, right, you can come in, pay some money, and use it. But I didn't touch it. I just moved it and set it right here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because when I saw it, I thought, okay, someone left the computer here. Where they gone? And then I read it. I was like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just think it's interesting how you sat in the one seat as opposed to all the other three seats when you saw the computer was in front of that chair.
Yeah.
Just an interesting observation. But you're right, it's a computer issued by the library. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. You didn't touch anything on the computer?
No.
Oh, okay. So you're going to sit there then?
Yeah, I'm gonna. You want to see right here? Were you here?
Oh, that would have been a question to have asked before. That's fine, though. Thank you. Have a good day. All right. This is the entity that's pacing inside of the bathroom. He's monitoring with children, monitoring vagina with children. The entity's doing so with Marcelo Blanco. Okay. Chin is gang stalking me at the Vaughn's grocery store, and doing so with pertaining to the same fake sun that then followed and remains over the Upland Public Library. And they literally just engaged in pacing in and out. As I walk out of the stall, they have one engaging in surveillance.
in the stall, stationary. And then the pacing consists of what is minor children walking in the door, going in a stall, standing, and then another standing at the sink, walking out, and then the other coming out of the stall, and then pacing around, going to the sink. This is how they're pacing in the bathroom. And then you have a demon that moves a computer. These are demons that are engaged in this also because they're merely these are petty monitoring tactics by demons that are hostile. Okay, because it's very rude to just sit there. There's no name tag, and it doesn't have to be. And not only that, he's a gang stalking demon. This demon is mad because Chin's going to prison. But nonetheless, the entity's engaged in what is sitting there, and is telling me as this is not a man, this is a gang stalker, this is an effeminate predator who's engaged in what is harassing a woman because she's prosecuting him for being a sex offender and a terrorist, and he's engaged in what is moving the computer in order to do so and sitting where the computer was placed at the table. And I noted that targeting all the other seats, he could have sat at all the other seats because the computer was at that one seat. That's what I was laughing about. This is a demon that's gang stalking. Hi, can I get another computer with a fully charged battery, please? Do you need my ID? I'm sorry, are you on the phone?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Is that okay? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You seem fine. Let me make sure
No, sorry. I was just looking for the other paper that was here that had all the everything else.
Oh, who I am? You need my library card?
No.
Here you go.
That's fine.
How are you today? Good. Joy is who's the manager at this library?
Adam.
Oh, Adam. I thought Joy got promoted or something.
No. Joy is our. She works for she's part of the literacy department.
Oh no, there's another Joy. The believe the Asian female. Her name is Joy.
Yeah, that's what I'm about.
Oh, I met another woman that told her, she said that she works for the literacy department. So you're talking about Joy that has the office over here?
Yes, Joy. You mean the one with the glasses? The shorter one with the glasses? That Asian lady?
There were two. Now there's two people. I only knew one person named Joy here, and she was an Asian woman that works at the library here. And I thought she was like a librarian, maybe like a director or supervisor level. But I just met someone else that told me she was over the literacy department, but she was back here. So I didn't know if that was. But she's more. I think she's like a Caucasian woman.
There's a Caucasian woman. The only one who's who's higher than Adam.
Joy has her own office right here.
Yes.
That's the one you're talking about.
That's the Joy I'm talking
Over literacy.
Over literacy.
Somebody else told me their name was Joy and that they worked for the literacy. They were a tutor for the literacy.
Oh.
Adult literacy. That's what she told me. Yeah, that's interesting. That's what I wanted to clarify. I was like, wait, I know a Joy here, and she doesn't look like you.
That's the only Joy.
Okay, well, anyway, no, this is fine. This computer is charged up? Okay.
I hope so.
Let me see. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a good day. I'm sorry, I just want to check to see. You can go ahead. You can go ahead. I just want to make sure this is charged up. Oh, okay.
Yay. Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Is there a way that I can find out the true name of the person that's over the... Well, I don't know what she did. She told me she was working with the adult literacy.
Well, everyone who works here is supposed to wear their name tags. So, it should say something like this.
I assume she works here because she had access to that room back there where the teenagers used to go in. This room right here. The far table.
Yeah, that's the only person who runs it is Joy. She's the one who has the office next to the study room.
Yeah, it wasn't her. I know who you're talking about. It wasn't her. It was an older Caucasian female.
You mean Kristen?
She told me her name was Joy. Kristen doesn't even sound like Joy, so I didn't mishear her.
No, that's the only other person I can.
Okay, so if I know of an adult that is looking for literacy assistance, like a tutor of sorts, tell them their name is Joy.
Yes, her name's Joy Alvarez.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you for clearing up the confusion. Have a good one.
Okay, this is just to show. This is a third party that is gang stalking, has access to the rooms here at the library, and this is also relevant to this gang stalker that's harassing a woman because Joy is not Joy. Bye, Joy.
I'm Catherine, but Joy's the one you want to talk to.
Oh, okay, got it. Bye, Catherine. Have a good one. They're engaging in that pattern of conduct together, monitoring in the bathroom, and then coming back and sitting in the seat where I'm at. That's a means of crossing path as well. This is the entity that's engaged in that P.O.C. all together. It is 5:11 p.m. at Upland Public Library, and this is mentally ill behavior that's conducted with minor children, which again is, as I'm speaking to, the entity that's engaged in the pattern of conduct is doing so while they're engaging in the P.O.C. with the minor children that are a threat to the public. So this is what I was speaking about earlier. They're gang stalking in the bathroom. Minor children will not be any sort of compassionate basis to provide assistance to terrorists. They are indeed engaging in the pattern of conduct in the absence of their demon-possessed parents. They are fully engaged in acting intentionally and with malice, targeting, and they're doing so regarding my genitalia in the bathroom, and their parents are not there supervising that. Okay, they don't have to be, and they're doing that with the government. Okay, so this is also why Marcelo Blanco is going to be removed from the position that he's in. Gang stalking me with demons like Chin, asking me questions that I don't have to answer in a grocery store after having committed no violation, doing so because they're harassing me as Marcelo Blanco is targeting me in the city of Upland. All right, it is currently again 5:12 p.m. This is P.O.C. COLLIN SHEEHY, San Bernardino County San Bernardino County Fire at 8th Street in Euclid. Criminal summoning at 7:21 p.m. And they are stalking while I am in relevant position. They're stalking at what is Euclid and Olive. The people of the state stalking with San Bernardino County license plate. They are lurking, coming up Olive Street, monitoring me with San Bernardino County Fire, 56904L1, and this is why COLLIN SHEEHY will not be keeping the position he's in. This is why Daniel Muncie will not be keeping the position that he is in, while the county fire department is engaging what is stalking me in Upland, California. They're doing so under the fake sign. I took a picture of it. You will see it dangling in the background of the Arco at 8th Street in Euclid, where it was this morning, where Shannon Dykes, another demon to be removed from position, engaging what is stalking, not law enforcement. Stalking in order to psychologically torture. He is a monitoring spirit that is unfit and is corrupt in a position as a sheriff, a county sheriff that's engaged in what is gang stalking, that is state surveillance, and further into murdering people, murdering inmates that he kidnaps, inmates that he sexually violates, inmates that he torments. And they are on the roads and the highways using San Bernardino County vehicles this morning at that same 8th Street, where the sun would not be 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 hours later. Okay, Shannon Dykes, that department is stalking me at the intersection where San Bernardino County Fire are stalking. They're monitoring as they use their sirens, stalking me, following me around in relevant position to me on Euclid Avenue, using the lights and sirens on those vehicles, and they're also enabling the city of Upland to do the same. You'll also see my documentation showing how the entity is gang stalking in the sky space, maintaining plane activity around me. This is P.O.C. It's currently 7:22 p.m. Criminal summoning by the city of Upland. Good morning. Hi, would you guys happen to have any study rooms available? I do. You do? Yeah. Oh, I was surprised. I was like, you were going to tell me. Do you have any laptops available? Really? How are they working these days?
Pretty good.
Yeah? They're charging?
They're charging.
Okay. I do. Sorry, I have to tell you that. But anyway, can I, I'll check out a laptop and get a study room if that's available, please. How have you been? I'm excellent, ma'am. Thank you. How's school going?
It's good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad it's on.
Right? I'll tell you what, I'm glad that I'm done with school because I don't want to, I'm glad I did it and that it's over with. It's the type of thing I don't miss it. I don't want to go back. I don't want to learn nothing else. Yeah, I'm glad it's over with.
Very much not done. I'll be in school for a long time.
Yeah? You said you want to go beyond the valley, right?
Well, I really might be able to.
Oh, yeah. You got the perfect job, though. Sitting there being quiet, you can study a little bit on the low, all day long. Not all day, but you can, sneaking in a little bit for maybe an hour here, 30 minutes there. Thank you. Do you guys have any disinfectant wipes?
Yes.
Yeah, moist. How about paper towels and I can get some sanitizer? Yeah, there you go. Can I get a little bit more paper towels, please? Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. All right. Okay. Okay, it's 11:35, and just like I started with Vaughn's, the pattern of conduct is underway outside. The entity is ceaselessly gang stalking me. I remain under surveillance 24 hours a day. The question is not if Upland Public Library is engaged in criminal monitoring. That is gang stalking me. The question is how, okay? And Vaughn showed you how literally Upland Police walked in the grocery store gang stalking. It doesn't get any more clear than that with regard to prosecuting. Everyone already lost. They're entirely unsuccessful in a federal case in court. So they're engaging in surveillance in every other way also, which is unlawful in the bathroom. Everywhere that they're at in the store, it's a means of what is surrounding. They're psychotic while they engage in that, and they are doing it in engineered light. That is the fake sun, okay? Whether they cover it up or not. Covering it up is relevant to the entity that also tries to cover up its mental illness, and they can't cover that up either. It's 11:36 a.m. at Upland Public Library.
Yeah, the range. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I can move. Yeah, I just
All those kids, is that like an event? We do a reading about a story in the morning for the little kids. So it's usually just loud in the morning and then later it's quieter.
Oh, you opened up that one for me, huh? Did you open up that one for me?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay. Oh, someone's using that. Oh, someone must have been using it. Okay.
No, you're good, you're good.
Oh, I get it. Somebody was already using it, so you're clearing them out.
Yeah, the doors are.
Okay, I'll wait. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Are you done? Yeah?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. No, it's okay. It's fine. Alrighty. I'm just documenting the fact that I'm in Upland and you know that I'm in Upland. I've been documenting, but that I am at the Upland Public Library. And this is the evidence of the pattern of conduct that's underway inside of the library, which is the city of Upland. Okay, so Bill Valto is keeping me under surveillance, in other words. As an aside, I want to point something else out to you. As you are analytically and as medical professionals are assessing mental illness, Chin and everything that he stated, these are criminals that are psychopathic. They are engaged in a system whereby they're engaging in the ability to murder people. They're not engaged in what is overuse of force. That's how it's described with regard to even when an entity is engaging in surveillance unbeknownst to American citizens who are lied to by the system that says it's an unlawful overuse of force. These are all terms, even when they are under those circumstances, they are still being viewed as an officer engaging in what are the duties, executing their duties. They're not under any circumstances. This is murder. Okay, so the entity that's taken the life of American citizens while surveillance is underway is engaging in premeditated murder. How? Both where they are targeting that person and a loss of life is resulting, which is what they plan to do in the first place. And also, under any and all circumstances, loss of life is it's reasonably foreseeable to result when the police are stalking, as they are, doing so in helicopters like Marcelo Blanco was doing at the Upland Public Library, as I documented. Now, while the department is already stalking, this is what I want you to hone in on. You're already stalking me. You're using helicopters targeting me as a department. Why is Chin representing the reason for his presence in the way that he is? And it's not because it's the fact or because it's the truth. This is the entity that believes that they can control the circumstances and the narrative and what it is that's believable because they all agree that, oh yeah, I called and that's why they're there. And it's true what it is that I'm stating and this is the fact because of my uniform. And that's no. It is already established you're gang stalking as a department, so everything that's coming out of his mouth as to the reason why he is there and what he is discussing with me, which he has no right to under any circumstances, by the way, under the law. They're being prosecuted based on reality, not based on the illusion where they're engaging in the system. And reality will have you ending up in a mental institution. Because you're going to assess what they said versus what they're actually doing. Therein you see how psychotic they are, how malicious they are, how deceptive they are, how maniacal they are. You're stalking me by helicopters at the library under the fake sun, which is on video. And yet you are representing yourself as though you don't know who I am and you're not sure, but you're taking as fact some allegation regarding what's not even an unlawful act, which will give you no basis of suspicious conduct whatsoever to get to a legal means of what is reasonable suspicion to detain, to further investigate. You're not anywhere in that territory. You're blatantly stalking. And you're doing so maliciously while there's already a documented pattern, not just in 2026, and specifically of March of 2026, stalking me by helicopter, but in 2022 and in 2021 and in 2020 and in 2019 and in 2018. Massive surveillance in Upland, California, knowing exactly who I am. And then you go back with that knowledge and you listen to what Chin said. You listen to the Upland police that are stating in concert with the people, the basis for being in the presence of an American citizen that is being targeted. This is how they commit murder in plain sight. You're going to prison for this. This is domestic terrorism. That's another means of understanding and looking at the bare bones criminal and bare bones stalker. You are stalking me by helicopter at this venue, and then you're engaging in what is stalking me at the grocery store because I'm enforcing my rights. That's really what's going on. While you claim that you're there pursuant to other reasons and circumstances, which also do not make legitimate your presence in my face, nonetheless, you're looking at the illusion that they're maintaining. Very, very psychopathic, very, very threatening and malicious. You're a stalker and a liar with a gun on your hip, prepared to take my life if I give you any sort of reason to create a narrative as to why, because that's what they do. They get to shoot you if you do something that enables them to create a narrative, okay? They get to do that because that's what they're stalking for, and that's how the law is going to treat that. They are not officers engaging in the execution of duties whatsoever, and they're not going to be prosecuted and treated nor viewed under the law as that. The irrebuttable presumption of public corruption already exists. It's been long established. Chin's going to prison. I just want to point that out. This is P.O.C. It's currently 11:43 a.m.
Leo. That's Leo with Securitas engaging in sexual assault and battery. While he's walking away from the job, he's engaging in what is violence as a gang stalker. In doing so, he's going to federal prison. He's still going to prison. He's engaging in what is still targeting while doing so as an employee of Securitas, where you already know the government is stalking me on a daily and nightly basis by plane and helicopter. He's doing so literally right now while they're pacing above me. Leo's going to federal prison. Okay, and the government's engaged in criminal surveillance, and the people of the state, like Securitas employee Leo, whose license plate I have on the record. I'll go with a fresh image, a copy of that. He's gang stalking and engaging what is targeting me for no reason whatsoever other than the fact that he's obsessed with me, and he's a demon who is gang stalking and furtherance of murdering me as well, while the government is providing evidence against him, because this is what happens when the government's engaged in gang stalking. All the government can do is provide ongoing evidence to put the people of the state in prison. That's literally what the government is doing, is putting the domestic terrorists in federal prison. They're helping and prosecuting them. That's the pattern of conduct. This is P.O.C. It's 9:28 p.m. It's impossible light activity, but that's exactly what's happening. And I've proven that through the entity stalking me with a fake sun. And you've seen the engineer light dragging across surfaces. So Leo is over here. Leo is a demon, and Securitas is a terrorist, his employer. And he is targeting me right now while I'm over here in this area where no light is going to create any sort of effect on me. But he's touching me with impossible light activity. And then you're looking at how fast and hurriedly he's walking away. This is a demon that's targeting me with light, and then he's fleeing like a coward. He's a vagina monitor. These are sex offenders. These are demons. And he also can't help himself. This is relevant to the mental illness. I just want to be clear. Leo is going to be subject to mental examinations. My documentation shows his pattern of targeting me with engineer light, which is mentally ill behavior, which makes him a threat to himself and other people as well. And as a matter of what is protecting the American people, protecting the public, he's going to be subject to mental examinations. And that's just based on my documentation of his gang stalking me and him exhibiting affirmatively that he is a deranged person with mental health concerns that need to be addressed with regard to his prosecution and his conviction and his time in prison. It is currently 9:29 p.m. This is P.O.C. And just to further show that the entity, this is the environment where the entity is pacing. Under the fake moon, Leo was stalking me with impossible light activity. Pursuant to the pattern of him harassing me, which I documented, Leo was molesting me with impossible light activity. Where the government is, as you are witnessing in this video, pacing above me in those aircrafts, Leo was stalking me with impossible light activity. And in this environment where I have the multiple shadows that are appearing and disappearing and vacillating, Leo is targeting me with impossible light activity. This is P.O.C. It's 9:30 p.m. Alrighty, this is me maintaining a record. This is Mobility Solutions. I documented him a couple nights ago, gang stalking, and he is monitoring. This is why he's using his vehicle as light activity while he's right inside of this building, gang stalking, doing so while under the job, ostensibly engaged in what the vehicle says, parking enforcement. He's engaged in criminal monitoring with the city of Ontario, that's stalking by planes, which is the images that I just captured. He's pacing in and out of this building using the vehicle as light activity. He's psychotic. It is currently, by the way, 10:32 p.m. This is the city of Ontario engaging in terrorism. Alrighty, this is going in and out of what is the Securitas venue. Well, Allied Universal does the same thing while they're gang stalking. He's engaged in the pattern of kind of going back and forth to the car, while the Ontario International Airport is stalking by plane. This is P.O.C. Very psychotic. This is pacing with the engineer light, back and forth and back and forth. This is the entity that's engaging in that, and this is the city of Ontario that's maintaining what is an ability to engage in overnight surveillance with the airport that's flying over the venue. Alrighty, this is license plate. I'm documenting he's been engaged in it, and since the day that I documented him, now I'm seeing him every day. This is the entity that monitors evidence, and literally in their minds, the more that they're seen, the more that they appear as though I'm not doing anything. That's literally their logic. They're going straight to prison. It makes it very easy to document terrorists. Everything that all of their theories are absolutely asinine. They're idiotic, and it's providing evidence for those that are blatantly engaging in surveillance, and they're going to prison. License 9YAL932 is systematically monitoring at the Ontario Town Square, and he's also exhibiting severe mental instability, which is relevant to damages and the prosecution of the city of Ontario that's keeping me under surveillance. These demons are sitting in the vehicle gang stalking with him in the middle of the night. Okay, they're just sitting around monitoring while parking enforcement is a demon. He's psychotic. He's walking in and out of the building repeatedly, using the vehicle, blinking in the lights of the vehicle, and doing so like you see in the video as he is monitoring me and knowing that I'm documenting him. This is impunity, and it's also mental illness, and it is in concert with the entity that is stalking. Okay, this is surveillance. The entity is doing so with commercial plane, the typical hovering over the elbow cone. Is what they're doing right now. They're flying at a higher elevation where they are stalking. Getting out of the vehicle once I hone in on them and zoom in. Okay, they've been sitting engaged in surveillance while this psychopath is going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Okay, that's P.O.C. These are demons that are stalking, and I documented this demon over here. This is all surveillance. This is all gang stalking. Their license plates are on the Google Drive, and this is the entity that's engaged in sexual assault and battery with engineer light while they're sitting around stalking with light. This is the entity that's engaged in psychopathic pacing. This is the stationary presence aiming light. This demon with the yellow jacket on is walking in and out of the building using light activity, peculiarized light as he does so. These demons are over here monitoring. The fake moon is directly over my head. These are demons. This is the mentally ill. They're engaged in 24-hour surveillance of my vagina as well. This is the city of Ontario. This is the type of venue that the entity is going to lose because it's been used for terrorism. They're not going to have an Ontario town square. This is a city of Ontario that for years, the Ontario police terrorizing by helicopter in concert with the people of the state. It's a forum that I've shown is used for domestic terrorism and a means that is defunding the terrorism and removing the resources that the government is using and abusing. The Ontario Town Square is not used for the purposes that Governor Brown stated that it would be for, nor is the current demon, Paul Leon, using it for that purpose. Its basis of presence is federal prison. With regard to the entity that's engaging in this pattern of conduct, Paul Leon is providing what is the resources, the venues, the resources of funding terrorism. And that's what Ontario Town Square has been used for. That's what it's being used for right now. This is P.O.C. It is currently 10:35 p.m. And as usual, the Ontario Police Department is underscoring and punctuating the stalking that the people of the state are engaging in on behalf of and in concert with that agency. This agency flew over me over 3 times and remained for a prolonged period stalking me at the Stater Brothers, and they're doing so with the entity that is indeed gang stalking. Okay, so you're looking at what is relevant positioning, light activity, doing so while the entity is then stalking by helicopter. You're looking at them engaging in this conduct in real time. That third party's license plate is on the record. This is federal prison right here. And the gang stalker that's calling themselves engaging in parking enforcement, pacing in and out of that building, that's federal prison. That's why he's doing it, because he's gang stalking with the Ontario Police Department. The Ontario Police Department that are gang stalking last night on video, flying in circles over me, flying over the top of my head while I'm publishing evidence on the internet, putting Amber and Isaiah, and that list continues to grow because they're going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. This is the Ontario Town Square where the fake moon is over me, where the entity, the terrorists, are seeking me out to fly over the top of my head again. The people of the state are going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. Flying over El Pecan, flying under the fake moon that was over the Stater Brothers. They're mentally ill. Mike Lorenz is psychotic. You could tell by the stalking with helicopter, absurdly psychotic. And this demon is not engaged in parking enforcement. He's engaged in gang stalking me, and the mental illness. This is what is going to be relevant, because while they're engaging in it, they're going to be subject to mental examinations. He's pacing in and out of the door. He's using the vehicle as a means of light activity. This vagina monitor over here is sitting idle, aiming light in the darkness while the entity is pacing all around by planes, doing so by helicopter, as you just witnessed, stalking, criminally monitoring, while this psychopath is over here pacing back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I got this demon's license plate. It begins with 5VW. This demon's engaged in what is molestation via engineer light, doing so in the specific environment, and this is also impunity. This is federal prison. Okay, so this is what the entity is engaging in on behalf of the agency that's engaging in surveillance, and this is in the middle of the night. This is in the spent where you are stalking. This is surveillance, and like I stated, the city of Ontario does nothing other than help putting the terrorists in prison. This gang stalker and the company is going to be federally prosecuted, and he's right in here stalking. And you saw in the video what he was doing. That's why he was doing it. He's a gang stalker with the gang members of the Ontario Police Department, and that's federal prison. Alrighty, this is P.O.C. sitting at the Ontario Town Square with their headlights on. And the entities engaging what is light activity with the Ontario Police Department. This is license plate 5ZVW351, gang stalking, psychological torture, sexual assault and battery, and doing so in furtherance of murder. While they're engaged in criminal monitoring, this is mentally ill behavior, which is also going to be used to have the entity diagnosed and subject to mental examinations. While the Ontario Police exhibiting severe mental instability, also obsessively stalking me, doing so by using the helicopters, doing so under things like a fake moon with the population that's engaged in what is ritualistic pacing all around me, while they're monitoring in furtherance of getting absolutely zero money from me. And Mike Lorenz is going to prison for lying on my character while gang stalking like this. He's mentally ill and he is going to prison. So is the demon that's stalking in the helicopter, because they are going to produce their identity in a courtroom This is the courtroom right now in a federal tribunal within 4 walls. They're going to produce their identity. Everyone that was stalking last night, everybody that's stalking me tonight, and everything that I've been documenting on an ongoing basis. And I'm documenting the entity that's gang stalking in this manner all around me in my face, by company name, by location, because they're all getting exactly what the rules call for. You're stalking with the fake police, you're going to prison with those fake police. That's where they're going. You want to pace around, you're going to be subject to the mental examinations routinely while you are sitting in prison. This is P.O.C. It's currently 10:49 p.m. That's the Ontario police that you see in video after video after video under the fake moon stalking at the Stater Brothers at Ontario Village Shopping Center. There's no coincidences here. And this is the Ontario police that are gang stalking and flying over the top of my head again at the Ontario Town Square under the fake moon, which is moving around the park as I move. They're all a bunch of stalkers. This is P.O.C. So I just want you to see the entity that is very much engaged in what is stalking me under what is the fake moon. And I just want to be clear, Mike Lorenz is no longer a closeted homosexual. He is an openly gay male that's engaged in what is stalking a woman that he's intimidated by. He's afraid of me. And that's also why him and the homosexual witches of the Ontario Police Department engage in ritualistic stalking by flying over the top of my head. It's the same thing with regard to their worshiping of my vagina. These are actually homosexual males that are engaged in what is failed witchcraft efforts that are proving them to be mentally ill while they're engaged in stalking me in these expensive and incredible manners repeatedly and obsessively, especially as they are triggered as I speak the truth. Mike Lorenz is very triggered as I am telling you all the world that are witnessing the fact that Mike Lorenz is no longer a closeted homosexual. Not only is he a closeted homosexual, he's been outed by myself while he is targeting me. I'm going to let you all know that not only is he homosexual, he's severely mentally ill, and he is also a serial killer. That's also why he joined on the force. I want to be clear. I am the one that is exposing him as such. And he's also going to be put in federal prison where he no longer has to hide his true sexual desires for other men. This is relevant to his cult practices regarding homosexual rituals, where he's engaged in what are being triggered by a woman like myself who is sane and also who is stronger than him. And that goes for all of the gay men on the Ontario Police Department. Stand back and think about the fact that these are demons that are engaging in what are stalking me, and the level of stalking that I'm capturing on video regarding helicopter activity. This is a level of personal hatred regarding what is overly emotional gay men who are stalking a woman that is more capable than they are. Okay, so you're talking about maintaining an investigation, and I never joined an academy to be a police officer. I've also never engaged in any gay sex, and I certainly do not engage in any sexual activity in order to garner any spiritual power. Mike Lorenz, who was a homosexual who wanted to keep that a secret, cannot do that, especially while he's stalking me by helicopter. Everybody needs to know that he engages in what is homosexual conduct with men, and he does so while he thought that he was practicing witchcraft. And Erica Spencer comes around, myself, and I am showing him that he is not only is he not magical, he's nothing other than a homosexual who's been tricked by Satan, deceived by Satan. I just want to be clear, this is relevant to the demon that is flying in circles over here, that is brewing and is highly triggered and is angry, hiding behind a tree. This is the cowardice, okay? The entities engaging in this this pattern of conduct with regard to literally going to prison because you are not able to be honest about your homosexuality, and you are engaging in what is acting out your frustration regarding the fact that you engage in gay sex, and that you are under no circumstances spiritually powerful or authoritative at all, which my prosecuting you shows everyone else as well. Anyone else that believe the lie of Satan, who wants you to be homosexual, who wants you to contract some sexual disease that you cannot cure, and have you thinking that it's going to get you riches and have and make you powerful, and it is not. And then when you're engaging in criminal conduct as embarrassing as this, stalking a woman who's letting everybody know, including your wife, that you're a homosexual, and that's why you're stalking me so aggressively, because I am prosecuting you and telling the truth about the mental illness that you suffer from as gay men and women. Okay, that are not even police officers. They can't even do their job competently because they're not engaged in law enforcement. This is the entity that's engaged in that, and they're engaged in this conduct because I am telling you the truth about them. Okay, this is the entity that's the reality about what's wrong with Mike Lorenz. He's basically a frustrated gay man. Okay, that's very dangerous. It's very dangerous. This is somebody that will pull the trigger and murder someone because of his frustrations. This is why they're stalking me by helicopters. Okay, this is what's stalking me in the grocery store regarding what is no criminal activity whatsoever. Okay, and the inability to make sense as to why you would chase me down in a grocery store regarding that which is perfectly lawful. It's because they're engaged in what is criminal activity with the people of the state. All right, this is the entity that's engaged in this pattern of conduct. This is a psychopath that's over here flying in circles. Oh, the fake moon is over me, and they're doing so. I want to be clear, just like they were last night. Okay, and you have, the entity that's being disbanded, the gang members, the homosexual gang members of the Ontario Police Department are being disbanded, and I am helping to make their lives less stressful. There are frustrated gay men and women who are engaged in criminal activity, never engaged in nor intending to engage in law enforcement. They're engaged in what is trying to spread homosexuality around. That's what they're engaged in. Okay, and the entities hostile at me, especially while I speak the truth about what they are and what they are not. They are not magical. They are homosexual. They are also going to federal prison, and they are going to be subject to regular mental examinations, which is also going to be based on this ongoing aggressive and psychotic means of stalking me obsessively, because I'm telling everyone about Mike Lorenz's sexual proclivities. All right, he's engaged in having sex with men, and it turns out it doesn't make him magical whatsoever. It makes him homosexual. That's it. This is P.O.C. This is the entity that's flying over the top of my head, and this is speaking to the absence of any need for the Ontario Police Department. They're not a police department. This is why mentally ill people are pacing all around me, because the Ontario Police Department are engaged in criminal activity that the people of the state share in, and they're all demons under the same false impression, because they've been deceived by Satan, that when you go ahead and submit to homosexuality, that you will gain some sort of spiritual authority, and that is a lie out of the pit of hell. You are watching the evidence of it, while demons have lost their minds, stalking me in planes and helicopters, and they are chiefly amongst the gay men that have yet to come out of the closet in California, that secretly want to be me, and also wish that they had my vagina that they maintain rituals over. And that's the reality about what's wrong with Mike Lorenz. He's going to prison, where he's going to be forced to, against his will, be subject to mental examinations. Okay, that's what's wrong with this state actor that is maintaining helicopter activity, while all of the homosexuals of the Ontario Police Department are stalking me obsessively, and all of the resources of this agency are consumed with stalking me, and they've already lost in their bet to take my life. That is, Mike Lorenz has sacrificed himself, and clearly he lost his mind a long time ago. Okay, it's no longer a secret. Not only is he mentally ill, he is a homosexual who is mentally ill and is taking out his frustrations on an American citizen that is prosecuting it, and it is going to be the banner for putting gang stalking police officers in federal prison. All right, this is P.O.C. and this is what is relevant to the entity hunting me down, flying in circles. It's because of the frustrated gay men that are in Ontario, California, and I'm prosecuting them, and they're calling themselves the Ontario Police Department. They're not a police department. That's the reality. This is P.O.C. This is a cult that's practicing homosexuality, and those are the wiles of the devil. Okay, the devil that has humiliated them and has not done anything for them other than basically turn them all out. Okay, and while they've been turned out, I'm prosecuting them, and they can actually go. They're subject to federal prison, where Mike Lorenz will be perfectly capable of engaging in that which he desires to do, which is, he won't be able to hunt down women and stalk them in helicopters anymore, but he'll certainly be able to engage in his homosexual practices that he very much enjoys. Okay, but he doesn't like that it is openly expressed. But I don't care. You're stalking me by helicopter, and your gang stalking me regularly, and so you should anticipate that all of your secrets are going to come out. That's something that you should anticipate. And not only that, it's going to be at the forefront of your prosecution regarding the ways in which you are targeting me, because you are a gay man that cannot be a woman who you are targeting and further into murdering, trying to steal from. Okay, praying to Satan about being me and stealing from me, and it's never going to happen. And the reason why you're also doing that is because you're mentally ill. That's why they need to be removed from helicopters, all their guns taken away, and put in what is a federal cell for 23 hours a day. And that's exactly what this gay man, Mike Lorenz, is looking forward to, and every other stalker of the Ontario Police Department, where they have to make up information in order to engage in criminal activity against me, and all I have to do is open my mouth and tell you about all their secrets that are actually happening. It's actually true. It's the actual factual. And that's why they're so triggered, and that's why they're stalking by helicopter. Them and a whole clan of people are going to federal prison, all because Mike LORENZ is insecure regarding his homosexuality. Okay? This is P.O.C. It is currently 11:50 p.m.